Good evening, how are you? Council President, we're ready when you are.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
On behalf of the Paterson Municipal Council, I welcome you to the regular meeting of the Municipal Council. The meeting is now called to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for Municipal Council regular meeting, May 25th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Cotton.
Here.
Councilwoman Davila.
Present.
Councilman Jackson. Councilman Khalid.
Present.
Councilman Mendez.
Good evening, Madam Clerk. Present.
Councilman Mims.
Good evening, Madam Clerk, and to our secretary. I'm present.
Thank you. Councilman Velez. Mr. President.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. President and honorable council members, this evening we have with us to render the prayer is Miss Jaylyn Lloyd. She's an associate minister from the Calvary Baptist Church here in Paterson. And also, the Honorable Councilman Alex Mendez will lead us in the flag salute. Everyone, please raise for the prayer at this time. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Let us pray. God, we thank you for this city of Paterson. Continue to be with her and our leaders that have been called for such a time as this. We ask, oh God, for forgiveness, oh God, in all our doings, and we thank you, oh God, that you have given each council member victory in all they do, oh God. We thank you, oh God, for their dedication. We thank you for their courageousness, oh God, as they lead. We call out good citizens in the city of Paterson, oh God. We call out good connections and excellent integrity of God. God, we call out trust, oh God. We call out humbleness, oh God. We call out their steadfast devotion and diligence as leaders. We thank you, God, for excellence, oh God. You have placed them here for such a time as this. You have placed them here to plan, to decide, to create, oh God, and to be true innovators and encouragers for this time. Continue to give them peace that surpasses all understanding and direct their paths in everything they do, oh God. Direct our citizens in this city, oh God. We bind up anything that's not like you. We cling to your wings to guard our minds, to guard our bitterness from our hearts, oh God, as we move toward the goals of this city. We thank you, God, for their courageous spirit, oh God. God, continue to encourage them, continue to guide them, continue to give them peace and wisdom in all that they do, oh God. God, continue to be with them as they conduct the business of this precious city of righteousness, Paterson, New Jersey. God, you have raised up leaders to be purposeful, oh God. You have raised them up to be destined and to be strategic in service. God, bless our servant leaders. Cover them, protect them, lead them, and guide them, oh God, in all that they do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. We'll have Councilman Mendez lead us in the flag salute.
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have a moment of silence for our troops and those who have lost loved ones, especially in our residents who has been affected by all this violence going on. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please read the statement of compliance?
Yes, Mr. President. Statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law 2020 to 2021. Meeting date, May 25th, 2021, time 7 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting was compiled and disseminated in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law in the following manner. 1. The annual notice of regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council was compiled for the year 2020 to 2021 on or about July 1, 2020. 2. A schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2020 to 2021 was duly transmitted on or about July 1, 2020 to the North Jersey Herald News, The Record, the Arabic Voice, Italian Voice, Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, Pescator International, El Especial, Paterson Press, City Post News, and Tap into Paterson, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. 3. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2020 to 2021 was prominently posted in the lobby of City Hall first floor in the place reserved for the announcements of this type. 4. The schedule of the regular meetings and workshop sessions of the Municipal Council for the year 2020 to 2021 was duly filed with the municipal clerk. 5. A copy of the schedule of regular meetings of the Municipal Council was mailed to any person who requested and it paid the fee authorized by the Open Public Records Act. Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
Madam Clerk, I believe we need to do an amendment. We need to remove an item from the, it's not an amendment. We need to remove an item from the agenda. I believe item number 17.
Yes, Mr. President. At that time, when we are taking the consent agenda, would you like to remove it at that time? It can be done while we're taking that items.
So we are going to entertain the item. It's just not going to be on the consent agenda, or are you going to remove it?
No, the
In its
item
entirety.
is, no, we did not receive the resolution. Apparently, all the documentation was not submitted to the Finance Department, so the resolution is not here, which is item number 17. So whenever you're ready to do the
when
consent
the-
agenda item, we can do that.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So council colleagues, since we already got an explanation, when the time comes, I'm just going to ask for number 17 to be removed. Do we have a motion for payment of bills?
Sure, Council President. There's a motion for payment of bills in the amount of $3,130,587.94. There are no payments to the school district, there are no payments to the county, and there are Covanta waste management payments. I make the motion on tonight, Council President.
There's what?
Do we have a second?
There's what?
So moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilwoman Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call for payment of bills in the amount of $3,130,587.94. Councilwoman Khan? Councilman Davila? Yes. Councilman Kalik? Yes. Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
The payments that are outlined here, it identifies all of the payments and the Medicare payments and different payments throughout the city that need to be covered. And so with that being stated, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Agree with his statement. My vote is yes.
Councilman Abdelaziz? No. Councilwoman Khan? No? Thank you. Mr. President?
So there's no payroll on this bills list, so I'm going to vote yes.
The vote is 6 in favor, 2 against, 1 absent. Payment of bills is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome, sir.
So, Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
second reading ordinances?
Number 1, okay. Next item on the agenda is our second reading ordinances, and public hearing is required. Item number 1 for second reading. An ordinance amending Paterson Code Chapter 1, general provisions to provide for increased minimum and maximum fines for illegal dumping of solid waste pursuant to NJSA 40:49-5.
So
Finance-
moved. Move it.
Finance ordinance number 21015.
So moved.
Second.
Who moved this, Council President?
So
Mendes.
the sponsor, let me see.
Is that Councilman Mendez?
Nobody's a sponsor on the
That's
ordinance.
DPW.
All right, so, Madam Clerk.
Yes,
Once
sir.
again, everyone wants to move it. So the
all
whole
men-
council moved it.
The entire council members? Okay,
Council President.
is there a second?
I'll second. I'll be the only one that didn't move it. How about that? Everyone
I'll let
moved
them
it
move
and
it.
second by
I
me.
would second it.
I was second it.
Can't,
I,
Madam Clerk, you decide.
Ca-
I apologize for this.
Madam Clerk,
Council
remove
President,
me.
if I may.
can't.
It was moved by.
Councilman Mendez.
I-
It was
I'm-
moved by Mendes and
Quite
Denver.
honestly, I don't have any problem by everybody sponsoring, but I just want to thank Corporation Counsel because I've been working since he took that position. That was my first request, and since then, he and I, we've been working to put these two legislation together, 1 and 2. I don't mind to be the sponsor, but if everybody else wants to sponsor, the most important is to get the job done. But I just want to put it on the record that I've been working in this since Corporation Counsel got into that position.
Council President.
Councilman Mims.
I did hear that Councilman Mendez and Councilwoman Davila did make the motion. I can remove myself as a sponsor to be a second alongside of you because they did the work in that committee, so I will give that credence to them.
So, Madam Clerk, it will be second by Councilwoman Mims and I. I would appreciate if we could do a roll call now.
No,
No,
Public hearing.
Sorry, the public hearing, I apologize. I got a little distracted
Yes, the
here
public,
by.
okay, sorry, Mr. President. The public hearing is now open for item number 1. Anyone who wishes to speak?
Seeing none, move to close.
Wait, hold on, wait until they get up to share.
Well, come on, Councilman, don't,
All right, see no one move to close.
Okay,
you want to talk about
All
item
right,
number one?
council members, we just starting the meeting right now.
okay,
Really? We're all adults here.
okay. Council
Continue, Madam
President,
Clerk.
you are at the control, you're the president, and I will, by what you said, okay?
Thank
So is there a motion to close, Mr. President?
Yes,
I move
Madam
to
Clerk. It
close
was
the
moved
public
by,
portion. Cotton.
moved by Councilman Cotton and second by Councilman Davila.
Thank you. Roll call to close the public hearing on item number 1, Councilman Abdelaziz.
City of Paterson, buckle up. It looks like this is gonna be a long council meeting. My vote is yes.
Councilwoman Khan.
We're closing the public portion,
Yes, the public hearing, yes, ma'am.
public hearing piece. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
Seeing that there's no one here today to speak on behalf of item number 1, once this passes today, if it passes, okay, it's going to become law in 21 days. Seeing that there's no one here to speak on behalf of it, my vote is yes to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes, to close the public portion.
Councilman Velez.
Public hearing.
The sun is still out, the moon is not yet, so my vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr.
Okay, I
Mr.
think, Council President, can you explain to her, she doesn't understand.
We're in the middle of roll call. We're in the middle of roll call. Let's finish the roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President, your vote.
My vote is yes.
Thank you. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The public hearing is now
She wanna
closed
speak.
for item number 1.
So
Yeah,
we cannot have members of the public shouting also.
Well, Council President, all respect, I believe that she want to have an opportunity to speak in the public portion. That's why I say wait until they stand. I think that's what she
Council
was saying.
President, if you can please just explain for someone that's new, just to understand the process.
I understand, Councilwoman, but even when someone is new, like we cannot have, every week we might have someone new. We can't have people just shouting, but yes. So this is a second reading ordinance. By law, we're supposed to have a public hearing on it, where members of the public could speak on this item only. And we call for the public to speak on it, no one responded, so we just did a motion to close the public hearing on it. If as a member of the public, we're gonna have a list there, since it's your first time, we're gonna have a list for you to sign up, and we normally do the public portion where you have 3 minutes to speak around 8 o'clock. And you can speak on any issues in the city. You don't have to be anything pertaining to the agenda. Excuse me?
No, it's closed. No, she
Could
can't. Public portion is
could-
closed.
could you speak to a member of the, no, so they could clarify things for you? All right. Madam Clerk, we
Roll
could
call.
proceed.
Roll call at second reading?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call for item number 1 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to make it clear that we've been sitting here quite some time, and every time we have a legal department, I've been here with 4 mayors, and every time they say we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't increase the fine. So it had been asked for the last 8, 9 years that we asked to increase these fines for these people dumping, and every time a corporation council come, we could not do it, we couldn't do it. Every mayor, we couldn't do it. So now we're finally able to get done, and I think all council members had wanted this to get done because dumping in this city is horrible. And we need to raise these fines, but we've been asking for the last, I know I have for the last 8 years, to raise these fines. You want to keep dumping, then you're going to pay a hefty fine. So with that being said, and it's been asked over and over and over and over. With that being said, Madam Clerk, and it just now didn't get started just now. It's been going on since I've been here for the last 8 years. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Davila?
So on that note, I'm going to say ditto to what Councilwoman Cotton has said. I'm going on 8 years, and you're right. The conversation has been had many, many a times, and we must have zero tolerance when it comes to this dumping.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, though, it's getting done now
Right.
with this council.
Right.
So thank you to the chair of DPW, Councilman Mendez, and to the committee as well, because it was discussed. Move forward. Thank you, Corporation Council, for finally laying it down and setting it forth. To the administration and everyone today, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and definitely illegal dumping has been a problem for many, many years in our city. I definitely want to thank Corporation Council because that was one of my first requests when he got into the position. We finally got it done. The fine is going to be up to $10,000 for people that are dumping garbage in our community. We've been investing so many resources, try to picking up those garbage, construction debris, and people have no respect in our city. So the minimum fine is going to be $2,500 and maximum $10,000. They're not going to walk away anymore with $100 fee out of the courtroom. So what we're expecting is the administration to follow and enforce this new legislation and one into our connected. So I'm looking forward to see this implemented 21 days after. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mims?
So a lot has already been stated. I think I'm in agreement with everything, that Paterson is not a dumping ground. And I'm really happy to see that, you know, these fines are being increased. I just want to put it on the record that even though this is a legislative initiative, I just want to make sure that there's enforcement. We can increase the fines, we can change legislation, but to this administration, I just want to say, please ensure that these fines are increased. We have cameras, and there were new cameras. Let's make sure they're allocated appropriately throughout the city, and if we need to do more, let's get some more cameras in those areas to be able to get those perpetrators. Thank you again, Councilman Mendez, and to the DPW committee for your diligence in getting this down the road. I tell people we can kick the can, but it's those that get it to the finish line that names get imprinted into the book. So thank you for that. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
I agree with the statement of my colleague, Dr. Lalissa Mins. You know, everything will end in the courts. So this will send a message to those sitting on the bench to apply this ordinance accordingly, because somehow, some foreign faction, they need to learn. You know, I had to commend also Director David Gilmore to being also on top of this. Director, I think this will honor the hard work that you do every time that you go out there and address the dumping situation in our city. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
So I'm not going to repeat what some of my colleagues said, especially Councilman Mims. But I just want to ask, I asked many times, I want to ask that because we're short of staff, we as legislators, we can only be as effective as the turnaround time on some of the things that we ask. We often have a lot of questions where people come up to us with issues that are going on out there, and we depend heavily on Corporation Council, and we enjoy working with you. I know you have some limitations right now with your staffing. All I'm asking is, there is money in the budget. We need to, the turnaround time is important with us legislators. I've been asking for a while, Councilwoman David and I also, to also put stricter fines on those establishments that are operating after hours and without a liquor license. And we need to move on that as soon as possible. I know there were limitations. You already did your first, your research on it. And there was some limitations that the fine was too steep. But even if the fines are not steep, we gotta find a way that after the second or third violation, we gotta close them down for at least a month. If it's a mechanic shop, they're closed for at least a month. We need to address the quality of life in the city. And you know what, this illegal dumping initiative, I feel great about it, but enforcement is key. Now, we have a budget, a plan that I have been approving for the last 3 years, but I still don't see the services improving. So what are we gonna do different this time around? That is the question. There's gotta be some accountability, and I think my frustration, the frustration I'm expressing is the frustration of the residents. We're tired of it. We're paying for something we're not getting, and I just hope that this initiative to increase fines translate into less dumping in the city. If not, it's another initiative that we have in the books. We have all the laws in the books, but they don't get enforced. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 1 is hereby adopted on second reading. Number 2, Mr. President.
Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 2 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance amending Paterson Code Chapter 483, Zoning and Land Development, to provide for a definition section and increased minimum and maximum fines for illegal dumping of solid waste. Finance ordinance number 21016.
So move it.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez and Councilman Davila. We now open the public hearing, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir.
On item number
Anyone that wants to speak on this matter, feel free
Seeing
to
none,
come up.
move to close. Seeing none, move to close.
Second.
Move to close the public hearing by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the public hearing for item number 2, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan.
Yes.
Councilman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The public hearing is now closed on item number 2. Roll call.
Number 3, Madam Clerk.
No, roll call to adopt number 2.
Sorry,
Yeah.
roll call for a vote.
Yeah, roll call for item number 2 on second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Khan.
Yes.
Councilman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik. Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
This is somewhat similar to the last item, but we're closing public portion. But it's similar to the last item.
No, we're adopting. We're adopting the item now.
Oh, we are, okay. So then I'll keep my comment going. Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is similar to the last item, but it goes into ensure that there's proper enforcement across the board. So I really appreciate the hard work again of Councilman Mendez and the DPW committee to get it to where it is now. Paterson is not a dumping ground, and I'm gonna keep saying it. All illegal perpetrators need to be rightly fined, and this will not be tolerated here. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez.
I approve the message of my colleague, Dr. Lalissa Mims. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So this is a great initiative, and I want to commend my council colleagues, but I also want to make the residents of the city of Paterson aware that Assembly Bill 5663 by Assembly Moen out of Camden County is making a state law that the first offense is at least $5,000 and the third offense is $20,000. So we may have to amend this if this bill passes. I actually would urge our Assembly people to co-sponsor this bill. The first offense under Assembly Bill 5663 will be $5,000 for the first offense. That will be a state law, because not only does this hurt our neighborhoods, this also hurts the budget for the city of Paterson. When we get rid of the debris, someone has to pay for it. And that, and I'm reading the legislation, cities, and I'm sure if we ask our DPW director, we probably spend hundreds of thousands of dollars cleaning up with the cost of DPW, the dumping fees, and that cost, that is taxpayer dollars at work. And this is something that the Assembly bill is currently looking at. So this is good that's going there now, but we should also call our Assembly people to jump on this bill, because the first offense will be $5,000, and there's a lot of legal stuff, not just a fine. 180 hours community service, jail time, that the state law is looking at. So my vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President?
So, Madam Clerk, to the comment that was passed by Councilman De La Cis, I agree pertaining to the costs associated. I'm going to speak real quick to the administration, and this is the first time I speak of this. A resident stated, actually came up to me and told me that the garbage collection company that we have, they don't want to take off, let's say they take out a piece of furniture, they don't want to take it, but then they go down the block and take money, I guess, from contractors to throw the garbage out. So I want to agree, I'm agreeing with Councilman Abdelaziz, but when are we putting a stop to that also? What do we have to do? Do we have to get cameras and put it in their trucks? Something needs to be done. That was one of my recommendations before, that we need to put cameras in the back of all those trucks just to see what they're doing. So please look into that. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 2 is hereby adopted on second reading. Number 3, Mr. President.
Number 3, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 3 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance establishing a 15-minute parking zone on 18th Avenue between East 30th Street and East 31st Street. Department of Public Works, Ordinance 21017.
So move.
Councilman Mendez.
Moved by Councilman Mendez and Councilman Davila, second by Councilman Velez.
Councilman
Councilman,
Velez.
thank you, Councilman.
The public portion, Mr. President.
Public hearing.
See no, move to close.
Second.
The public hearing, I'm sorry.
Move to close by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. The public hearing is now open for item number 3. We have to have it done properly. Anyone who wishes to speak on this item may do so at this time. See none. There's a motion to close in a
See,
second.
move to close.
Second.
So moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez and Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to close.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the public hearing for item number 3. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton. Yes. Councilman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The public hearing is now closed for item number 3. Roll call, Mr. President.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call in item number 3 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan. Yes. Councilman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Kalik.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
Before I vote, I want to thank Councilman Mendez, because when this was first presented, I made a request that he would talk to the residents in the community. And I'm really glad you did that, because I think it shows that we do our due diligence as legislators when we talk to the residents before we make any type of changes. So I commend you on doing that, and I definitely can support this item. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez.
I could agree in the aspect of the visiting the residents. I'm the 5th Ward Councilman with this. 15 minutes going to be sitting. I just want to send the message to the person that requested. Because you have a 15 minutes parking, that means that when you call it in, it's a priority probably to the police department when there's other calls out there to address quality of life issues. So just be patient. If they take in the parking, 15 minutes, or they going over that 15 minutes, be aware that if you call it in for enforcement, probably is going to go in the low category of a call, not a priority. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President.
Based on what was said, I just want to put a request. Could we get a number of police officers that we need for all our calls to be priority, like every other town? Because we can't go, but, one time I called for an accident, I was told that if I don't say something, someone's bleeding, they will not show up. And they will not show up in hours. So that mentality that we have here have to change. We pay as much tax as everyone else. And that's why I apologize. You see me a little off. I'm just so frustrated with everything that is going on here, that is getting to me, because I just didn't get elected just to sit here and have a title. It's just frustrating. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 3 is hereby adopted on second reading. Number 4, Mr. President?
Yes, Madam Clerk,
Yes.
number 4.
Next item is item number 4 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance establishing always stop control at the intersection of 11th Avenue and East 30th Street. Department of Public Works. Ordinance number 21018.
So move it.
Second.
Second.
So it was moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Velez and Councilman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
No, the public.
Yes.
The public hearing is now open for item number 4.
So you know what, I'm gonna move go close.
Second.
So it was moved by Councilman Davila,
Davila.
second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the public hearing for item number 4. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The public hearing is now closed for item number 4.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, roll call in item number 4 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilwoman Davila?
No.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I definitely would like to thank the traffic engineer for looking into this, a 4-way stop sign for all those residents in the 3rd Ward that live on 11th Avenue and East 30. There's been so many requests throughout for years about a 4-way stop sign in this area. Due to the amount of accidents that are happening in that location, it's just incredible, but finally we got it done. So I'd like to just let all the residents on 11th Avenue and East 30 on that section, that after 21 day, the 4-way stop sign will be in place, and definitely we're gonna continue working to control the traffic on 11th Avenue, because it's just definitely unacceptable. I had a conversation with Councilwoman Mims also as well, and you hear the same complaint. 11th Avenue, East 30, East 31st, we have a school 26 around there, and people drive around there like a highway. The speeding with no limit, and I'm looking forward to make sure that we enforce that on 11th Avenue. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mims?
To the administration, and I'm sure our director may be listening, because when you go, there's a beginning of the hill at 29th and 11th Ave, and then there's a huge drop to 30th. So I want to make a recommendation that they put the drum that they did when they did it for Councilwoman Cotton. They put like a drum in the middle of the street to kind of help people get used to the fact that there was a change in that area. So we can put a drum there and some lights on the stop sign or something, just to get people in a place where they understand that there is a change, because if they don't know that when you drop down that there's a 4-way stop, you're gonna have more accidents. So just to the administration, can we just make sure that happens? And then let's just put some alerts out to the community, Councilman Mendez, just to let the community know that there is a change in that area. Thank you, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
My vote is yes. I just
Mr. President?
Yes.
looking for
The vote is 7 in favor, 1 against, 1 absent. Item number 4 is hereby adopted on second reading. Number 5?
Number 5, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Next item is item number 5 for second reading. Public hearing is required. An ordinance establishing a commercial loading zone on 12th Avenue between Strait Street and Auburn Street. Department of Public Works, Ordinance 21019.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman,
So I cut no cotton.
Councilwoman Cotton.
And Councilman Mendez?
Apologize, Councilman Cotton. It wasn't intentional. Councilman Mendez.
Yes, I have that.
Public hearing, Madam Clerk?
Yes, the public hearing is now open for item number 5. Anyone who wishes to speak on this item may do so now.
See no, move to close.
All right. It was moved by, to close by Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to
Yes,
close?
Mr. President. Roll call to close the public hearing in item number 5. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
So just so the community at large, when these requests are put forward, I just want you to understand that we don't just get the information and we put it forward. It has to go through engineer, our traffic engineer, they have to do a study, then we get the approval. Based on that, there was an approval done, the committee met and did their due diligence. So because of that support and their expertise, I'm gonna vote in accordance with that. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The public hearing is now closed for item number 5.
Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes, roll call in item number 5 for second reading. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilwoman Khan?
Thank you, I want to say to DPW committee for putting forth this. It has been in that area for probably the last 50 years. I don't know what happened. They couldn't find the records no more, but at least we got that straightened out. So to my DPW committee, thank you for putting this forward. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 5 is hereby adopted on second reading.
Number 6, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Next item is our first reading ordinances. No public hearing is required. Next item is item number 6. Ordinance amending Paterson Code Sections 407-18 and 407-19, addressing sewer use charges is to provide for flat rate residential billing administration.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Is that Councilman?
Moved by Councilman Khalid, second by Councilman Mendez and Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Roll call on item number 6.
Discussion.
Discussion, Councilman Jackson.
I'm sorry, Council President, just for a point of clarity. Are we addressing the sewer utility?
The sewer charge.
Sewer charge. Very good. I'm good.
Okay, anyone else? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 6 for first reading. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Pass.
Councilwoman Khan.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Going back and forth, looking at this flat rate billing system that we have, I got some more information. I think to me it's important that we do volume. Volume should be included in there somewhere. When I think about volume, I think about when I pay my water bill. If I use a lot, my water bill's a lot. If I got a leak in my house, 6 months ago, my water bill's $200. 6 months later, I fix my leak, it's $100. And it's by quality. Like, if I use a lot of electricity, I have a high electricity bill. If I use a lot of gas, I got a lot of high. We can't pay the same. To me, each house should not be paying the same because we have different usage of it. We're not all using the same amount. And I think about, I know they talked about the drinking water, but most people do not even drink the drinking water that we pay for. Most people buy drinking water or they have a cooler in their house or something. Drinking water, the water that we pay for, pays for everything. You wash your clothes, you wash your dishes, you take a shower, you take a bath, so you use water. You got more people in the house, you use more and more of it. I think that we need to take a closer look at volume that would be included in it, to me, and when I looked at this, the increase is quite substantial for 9,500 residents, and then a decrease is only 5,500 residents. So at this time, if we had I can't support this measure for now, so my vote is no.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
Pass.
Councilman Jackson.
I'm gonna follow the trend. I'm gonna pass as well.
Councilman Khalid.
Councilman Khalid never pass. I stand for what I believe in. Okay? I think this is the best option for the residents of Paterson. We don't want to leave any loophole. Sewer usages, and let Passaic Valley Water Commission decide how much water that we are using. It is what it is, according to this ordinance. It's gonna be a fixed rate. So we know how much we gotta pay. And definitely, I think it is good for the residents of Paterson. And I'm definitely will support these measures. The company did the studies, and I think this is the best option. And my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez.
That's a very good slogan. Councilman Kalik never passed. I like that, Councilman. That's great. Yeah, you never done
Look at my record for 5 years.
Checking your record, you never passed. But let me just thank you, Madam Clerk. Let me just take this opportunity to express, my, the way I think about this, and I say this over and over. This utility, it's been since it was created, was a disaster. This administration failed big time by being responsible and building those big entities that's supposed to put a portion of the money into the sewer utility to alleviate our homeowners. What they did is they increased the fee on the homeowner, in some cases over 100%. And I definitely agree with you, Councilman. We're now where we need to be with this sewer utility. There's way more work to be done, but it's a shame when a 2 or 3 family home get an increase between $500, $600 based on the usage and based on the value. Before, there was not sure. You didn't know how much money the bill's gonna be at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter. With this, we have a flat fee. And just for the record, to all the viewers at home, a single family, it will pay $359 a year, divided by 4 is gonna be $89.75. That's gonna be your bill every quarter. A 2-family will pay $682, divided by 4 is gonna be $170.50 per quarter. A 3-family is gonna pay $970, divided by 4 is gonna be $242.50 per quarter. And a 4-family is gonna pay $1,293, $1,293. You divide it by 4 quarter, it's gonna be $323.25 per quarter. You know exactly how much is gonna be the bill. That's the only way I'm definitely supporting this, legislation, because it's the best that we have right now, and we just wanna make sure that you as a homeowner, as a taxpayer, know every quarter how much is gonna be your sewer bill. Now what we have now, based on usage, based on value, that you don't even know how much you're gonna end up into pay per quarter. And due to the fact that a lot of people got an increased rate over 100%, this is the best that we have on the table, and I'm looking forward to support it on the first reading and also on second reading as well. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mims.
So I think I made my point last week, but there were some recommendations that were made outside of the recommendation just for flat rate. There was hybrid. There were some others that were presented. But then after it was presented to this council, other council members made recommendations. And one of the things I asked the administration for, I wanted to see what would be the balance out for those, now that it's flat rate. On one side, some will get a reduction, others will get an increase. And at the time, they didn't think they were able to do it. But I am really happy to see that they did it. And I was right. On one end, some residents will definitely benefit. They will get some level of a decrease. But on the other end, people that are single parents, 1 or 2 people, low usage, there's gonna be an increase. So on one side, we got a lot of calls from one side. Now it's gonna be a flip to who we get calls from. And so because I hear these calls, I have the data now to prove it. It wasn't just me saying it. I have it in writing that there will be, so for me, I believe that we should have taken an opportunity to look at all options before making a decision to say this should be the final say. It should be, let's look at this, that, or the third, and then come together to say, this one will give everybody a balance. Because if we're saying that we're trying to do an even kill to lift the burden from the taxpayers, we have to look at everything. And sometimes it's not presented on the first try, sometimes it's not on the second try, sometimes it's on the fourth try. For me, it's not politics, it's about what is the right thing to do. So I want to come against that statement that I'm not doing it for politics, it's about the residents. Residents are gonna suffer. Some residents cannot afford $50 more. They can't. $40 more, $100 more. There's some people that are saying if it goes up again, $100, I have to move. I can't live here. And look, I don't have room in my house. I would love to have them, but I don't have enough room in my house to bring all those residents to live with me. So I'm gonna have to not support it this time as first reading. Maybe something will change between now and the first reading final, but as it stands right now, based on the data, I have to make sure that there's an even kill. I don't want one side of residential taxpayers to get a break and others, they get an increase. So my vote is no, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Gonna pass.
Councilman Abdelaziz?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So I was just jotting down some numbers. So we're here today, and I'm going to wholeheartedly say I cannot support this new billing, schedule, or how you want to put it, system that we're putting in place. The numbers are there. 9,500 residents are going to see an increase. 5,500 residents will see a decrease. And the big winners out of all of this are your nonprofit and commercial, right? Because it doesn't change for them. We changed everything for the residents. The commercial properties, if I'm not mistaken, will still be volume-based, correct, Mr. CFO?
Correct, but they're staying the same.
They're staying the same. So we passed it, we're changing the residential component.
Council members, let's maintain the quorum. We're in the middle of roll call. We're not gonna ask questions back and forth. We could have had a discussion and we didn't.
Thank you.
So Councilman, take your 2 minutes and then you vote, please.
Thank you. So could you get there? So once again, the residents are gonna be hurting by this. The 9,500 residents that will see an increase. And in the 6th ward, many of my residents are gonna see this increase. At the end of the day, is there a perfect scenario? Absolutely not. But when the consultant was here, he says the only way that all residential property owners win is if we change the formula based on commercial and nonprofits. And that's the impervious coverage that we could charge the buildings that have the big parking lots, the nonprofits that have 100 parking spaces, right? Where currently right now, $11 million comes from residential properties and $8.5 million comes from nonprofits and commercial entities. If we pump our brakes and say, let's get the new rate structure for nonprofits and commercial entities, maybe commercial properties could pay $11 million and the residential properties could pay $8.5 million. The consultant said it. The state of New Jersey passed that bill in 2019 for a reason, for entities to do this. I can't support this. This is going to be an increase. And guess what? Just like what happened 2 years ago, our phones are all going to be blowing up again. Just like how you guys got 5,000 calls last time, we're going to get 9,500 calls this time. And like I said, I hope we could come back and try to charge the commercial and nonprofits more to ease the burden on all residential properties. My vote is no.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton?
She voted.
I'm sorry, you did, yes. I'm sorry. Councilman Davila?
I pass, and I'm gonna pass again. I'm still not there.
Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome,
So,
sir.
the reason this item sticks out so vividly to me is because the first time around, it was Madam BA who was presenting this as the Chief of Staff. And I took great offense not for myself, but for the public in which we represent, because Madam BA chose to use an analogy of when you share a beach house with your family member. So like, if we go to share a beach house with our family member, it might cost you $2,500, but if you split it up amongst your family members, then you reduce the burden on all people. And the reason I felt it was offensive, because we have to understand the community in which we serve. When we have people who are struggling, who are living on a fixed income, who have their grandchildren living with them, they're sharing bedrooms. So I recall this vividly because we talked about shifting the burden, right? So I like to use analogies, but I like to use analogies that are significant and that we can really understand. So let's just say we all was gonna split a pizza, right? And this is a phenomenal pizza. This pizza is gonna cost us $100. And there's 10 of us. There's 10 of us every single week splitting the same pizza. But there's only 4 of us carrying the burden. 4 of us are paying for this pizza. So, and even though there's only 4 of us, we're not splitting it equally, but for the sake of this demonstration, let's just say we split it equally. It's $25 amongst the 4 people, but there's 10 people gorging off this pizza week after week. So finally, we come to a decision. We say, you know what? We have to split the burden a little more fairly. It's too much for the 4 of us to carry. The 10 of us should split it equally. If we split it equally, it reduces significantly, more than 50%, down to $10 per person. So, in that formula, how is it possible there's 10 people eating, hoarding over it every week, 4 people carrying the burden? Now when we split it amongst 10, how does 1 out of the 4 have an increase? How does 1 out of the 4 begin to pay $25, $30, possibly $50 because he doubled his output? The pizza didn't change. We're still getting the same exact service from the water, from the sewer commission, the processing plant. We're getting the same exact service. We didn't add more water, more users. We just split the burden amongst those users who have not been paying for however many years. We did not go after Helden and the surrounding municipalities who've been abusing us for the past 100 or so years. But we said we were going to split the burden amongst everyone. So how is it possible that they claim 5,000 people went up? Because they're trying to make money off of you. That's the sad reality. See, I like to make it simple. So I'm hoping that was simple enough where everyone can understand this. But how is it even possible now? To make matters even worse, some of the biggest users, the hospital, they are getting a concession to where now they're not even going to have to pay sewer for the next 10 years or so. It's just absolutely asinine. I'll say this in closing, Council President. I appreciate the courtesy. But people at home, just look at the people who are supporting this issue and look at the ones who are not. Like, I mean, it couldn't be any more clear. To find reason to make sure that the burden is not shifted properly is ridiculous. We should have had numbers like this from day one. But anyway, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. So, Councilman Velez?
Gonna pass.
So we go back to Councilwoman Davila.
I think Councilman Jackson said it best, and my colleague as well, Councilman Kalik. I don't believe that the way we should have done this from the beginning. And it's unfortunate we saw quite an amount of people who were paying a certain amount and others were paying another amount, and some that were paying more went down to paying half of what they were paying, and those that were paying A level went 3-4 times. So I cannot, and I respectfully, with all my colleagues, but I'm going to actually agree with Councilman Jackson, Councilman Kalik, Councilman Mendez. At this time, I am going to support this measure, flat rate. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Davila. Councilman Velez?
Well, I've been listening to the back and forth. We've been speaking about this issue since a long time. Numbers have come up, numbers have come down. The state has threatened us to remove some benefits, some state aid, and telling us you need to go back to the table and discuss this matter a little bit more in details. We had challenged the administration in several occasions to sit and draft a plan, do this, do that. You know, Paterson, consumption is important. If you waste more money, more water, you're gonna get charged more in your sewer. You know, this sewer situation had not been revised or looked into it for many years. And past administration was only passing the buck and the bucket, and you know, and we're here now. This is the first reading. There's a lot of more to explain. Especially, I don't like the fact that we all, as a council people, learn things through the media, you know, and then they want to respond from us to know what is our opinion. And we're here in a workshop sitting almost 3-4 hours, listening to a study and listening to what is the plan or whatever. You know, we have challenged administration to do what they have to do. I think consumption is a real important thing. And for now, I'm going to vote yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
So, it is interesting. I don't know if my council colleagues understand what a utility is. A utility have to be self-sustained, right? So when we started to discuss this matter about 2 years ago, we were only collecting about $12 million. We were spending about 18. We're off by $5-6 million. So I want to know, anyone at home explain something to me. And I want my colleagues maybe later when we take a break, explain that to me also, because I got to get off, you know, I've been doing municipal finance for 16 years. I want to know, how is it possible that you increase a billing by $6 million, let's say. You increase the billing, just follow along the residents. Maybe I'm losing my mind. You increase billing by $6 million. You don't increase your base. You still have your 20,000 plus property owners. How is it that someone's bill supposed to go down? When we created the utility, was to make it self-sustained and pass more of the burden to the nonprofits. Remember, the nonprofits pay sewer, but they don't pay tax. The $6 million, we were paying it out of the tax levy. Now, if my colleagues wants to be upset, you guys should have been upset when we created a utility and we didn't reduce people's taxes by $6 million. You want to play games? We can play games. It's politics. I respect people's vote, but it's just frustrating that some of us get here. I understand, yes, the administration puts together an analysis that 9,000 something people are going to see an increase because from the inception it was wrong. We only have like 7,000 or 8,000 one-family homes. So how is it that, you know, 9,000 people are now going to see an increase? Everyone, if you think about it, when we created the utility, everyone's fee should have gone up, but then their taxes in a perfect world should have gone down. Now, the state, that's not what they want to see. They want to get us off transitional aid, but that's when we need a mayor to push and fight on our behalf. That being said, where's my council colleagues? And I've been pushing the mayor to go after the school district. We want an explanation. How is it that a public entity in the state of New Jersey they have put together a 2% cap? That means that there's only some exceptions where you could go higher than the 2% on your levy. How is it that the Paterson School District have increased their levy 50%? or in 3 years, it went from 40 to 60. Now, I want to know where my colleagues feel. So this is what we're looking right now. A one-family home will pay $11 more a month. But it's something, I will use the word equitable, and people are going to contradict me, but at least a senior citizen could actually put their budget together and know that that's all they're going to pay. They have a quarterly rate that they're going to pay. That they're not going to have mistakes being made by Passaic Valley Water Commission, because it wasn't based, it's not, you know, some of these residents are calling us because they're saying, Flavio, we're being billed based on an estimate from Passaic Valley Water Commission, or Passaic Valley Water Commission made a mistake on our reading. It takes our administration 6 months or more to fix that problem. So all I'm saying is this: the school district just increased right now, this bill right now, $250, I asked the CFO, $250 on the average that says home. That means a lot of those one-family homes that the administration tried to make a case that the seniors, yes, you know what, you want to help the seniors? I want the mayor to tell the state that this is a distressed city. $250 alone is being added to their bill from the school district. The state is going to demand that we also increase at 2.5% from our end, year after year, and that's when we need a mayor to say, look, we need to fight back. We cannot put this on the taxpayers. That's what I want to hear. I'm tired of the games being played in the city. People are suffering. I challenge the mayor. I want him to go to the state and tell him we cannot do this any longer. You want also another thing, and I wasn't going to bring it up.
Right, I support you.
I challenge my colleagues. You want to help the taxpayers and your one-family owners, family homeowners? Since we increased the levy, the sewer by more than $6 million, I'm going to take it upon myself to analyze the budget, and I will discuss it with all of you. Let's reduce the levy this year. I challenge you. You're so pro-taxpayers? Let's reduce the levy then. And you know the justification for doing so? The people have not been getting the services that they have been paying for a long time. I challenge you. I have the numbers put together, and I was going to bring it up on the spot like Morris did, but you know what? I challenge you. I want the mayor, I need the district to come before us and tell us why the increase took place. It is unacceptable. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 6 in favor, 3 against. Item number 6 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting, June 10th, 2021 at 7 p.m. Number 7, sir.
Council President.
Number 7.
Council President.
Number 7, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Next item is item number 7 for first reading. No public hearing is required. An ordinance designating Henry Street between Wayne Avenue and Redwood Avenue as a one-way street northeast bound, Department of Public Works.
Second.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Khalid.
Moved by Councilman Kalik and Mendez, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call in item number 7 for first reading. Councilwoman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Yes.
Councilman Khalid.
Yes.
Councilman Mendez.
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
This is going to definitely be an added value in that area, especially with the work that the county is doing. My vote is yes.
Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Item number 7 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting, June 10, 2021 at 7 p.m. Number 8, Mr. President.
Yes, number 8, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 8 for first reading. No public hearing is required. An ordinance designating James Street between Wayne Avenue and Rifle Avenue as a one-way street southwestbound, Department of Public Works.
So moving.
Second.
Moved by Councilman
Moved
Mendez.
by Kalik, second by Mendez, and
The second by Councilman Davila. Mr. President.
Yes.
Okay, moved by Councilman Mendez and second by Councilman Davila. May I continue, sir? Roll call in item number 8 for first reading. Councilwoman Davila.
yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik? Yes. Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Councilman Abdulaziz, we're voting on
Yes.
item number, okay, thank you. Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 8 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting, June 10, 2021, at 7 p.m.
So, Madam Clerk, we're gonna do 9 and 10, and then we're gonna open the public portion.
Sure. Next item is item number 9 for first reading. No public hearing is required. An ordinance establishing always stop control at the intersection of Paterson Avenue and James Street, Department of Public Works.
Second.
Second.
So moved by Councilwoman Davila and second by Councilman Mendez. And Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 9 for first reading. Councilman Abdulaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 9 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting, June 10, 2021, at 7 p.m. Number 10, Mr. President.
Yes, number 10.
Next item is item number 10 for first reading. No public hearing is required. An ordinance establishing always stop control at the intersection of Manchester Avenue and James Street, Department of Public Works.
So move it.
Second.
Who moved it?
Kalik.
Councilman Mendez? Kalik? Councilman Kalik, and who seconded?
Oh, I did.
Councilman Velez. The usual suspects. Roll call, Madam
So
Clerk.
Councilman Kalik, motion, second by Councilman Velez. Roll call on item number 10 for first reading. Councilman Abdulaziz? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 10 is hereby adopted on first reading. Second reading will be held at the next regular meeting of June 10, 2021, at 7 p.m. Public
So-
portion, Mr. President?
Yes, public portion, Madam Clerk.
At this time, the public portion is now open. We have 5 speakers. Our first speaker is Mr. Amador. Is that Raquel? Is that Raquel Amador? I'm sorry.
Miss Raquel Amador.
Raquel Amador. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you, Ms. Amador.
Mike.
Yeah,
Yes.
Raquel Amador in Riverside, 4th Ward. I was gonna bring something up, but I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm sad. I'm sad with all of you. I'm sad with Paterson. There's 9 of you. You guys don't have to be buddy-buddy, hold hands, skip down the street. But you all have to figure out a way to work with each other and lead us by example. Te estoy hablando, por favor. Okay. Thank you. Paterson is hurting. We're bleeding at the seams. Something needs to be done. You all live here. Y'all live here, right? Y'all see what I see. Y'all live here. Y'all see what I see. I can't be the only one complaining about an ice cream truck at 11 o'clock at night. I can't be the only one complaining about the dirt bikes who are putting themselves in danger, who are putting me in danger, who are putting my kids in danger. We have to do something. There's no I in team. You don't have to all get along and agree, oh, yes, yes, no. Agree to disagree. Find the balance. Find the balance. You all live here, but we're all ready to run and escape. But then there's a silent majority that's ready to fight back. And we're tired. We're tired of being tired. We're tired of dealing with what we're dealing with. Why can't other cities get it together? And why does it seem like we're just a bunch of little kids arguing? Like I said, you're not all gonna agree, and that's fine. But figure it out. Figure it out for us, for you. You guys live here. You are seeing what we're seeing. If not, please get me the blinders that you have on, or help us help you? What do you need from us to help you? How can you help us? We have to work together. We have to find a balance. We have to. We can't be coming, some of these requests that we come up with up here to this podium and ask for, we shouldn't have to do it because you all see it. You all experience it. You live here. You know. You were on my street the other day and you saw how I almost got hit by a car speaking to you.
Crazy.
I shouldn't have to ask because you guys drive down the streets. You see it. I got a petition together and I was heartbroken. I don't trust my government, but I believe in people. And the people on my block don't believe in the government. They don't think that me collecting signatures is gonna make a difference. They don't have faith in you. And I need to have faith in you because I believe in this city. This isn't the Paterson that I grew up in. And I'm ready to take my kids and get out of here. But something's keeping me because somebody has to help you all fight. And if you're not gonna help us help you, we're gonna fail. We're gonna fail, and it looks like we're already there. We're freaking close to it. And we can't go down like this. So tell us what you need to help you all. Now I gotta go find parking. Good night.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Yes, Mr. President. Our next speaker is Mr. Watson, Keith Watson. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Keith Watson, 341 East 31st Street. Good night, Council. Good night, Council. Council members. Tonight I send out a few papers to each and every council member that you might look at it. You might see one with, me and Bill McCoy, Kenyatta, and Stewart, and Mayor Jones on it. That one is to show that Bill McCoy was a part of my first event in 2012. Okay, then you'll see the date of my flyer is 2012. I gave it to, you didn't give me the flyer? Give me some time. No? Do you have the flyers?
No.
I gave you the flyers to give each council person.
The thing is,
While you're speaking, I'll have the secretary. Can you distribute what was presented to the council members?
okay,
Yes.
You can continue and we'll get it passed to the council member.
we cannot present nothing.
Madam President, may I speak, please?
Yes, and then we'll
Okay,
just,
I'm gonna
we'll
stop it.
restart
I'm
your
gonna
time.
stop his time.
Okay, yes, Madam
Apparently,
Clerk.
these items are not collated, and she did not get a chance to do so.
So the items are not ready, but we will definitely get them. It's on record that there are items, so she'll make sure that we get them. So they'll restart your
But
time.
normally, as soon as I bring something to Sony when James used to be here, I mean, it's correlated and just go right around. I mean, I gave her like an hour ago outside. So what's the delay?
Mr. Washington, I'll make sure that we get
Watson.
them. Mr. Watson, I'll make sure we get them, so.
Yeah, but I wanted them now. Anyway, you'll see a flyer there with my flyers. It's 2012, when I started the Jamaica Day Festival. And you'll see another one that is there with, when they were cutting the ribbon for the building, the mayor called me on my vacation, and the mayor invited me to come to the ribbon cutting because he know how passionate he know that I am the one who actually even started the movement in order to get the open space money to rehabilitate that building, okay? Now I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna say, when I went to Mayor Jones and told him that I wanted to do a Jamaica Day Festival, and I went to Crisco, and they were on board. And they said, okay, talk to Crisco. Crisco said, talk to the utility supervisor. That was Joe Maney at the time. Joe Maney said it's probably gonna take a lot of money because there was no electricity in the building, no water or nothing. Okay, but he advised me to, if I could get an electrician, if I could get a permit from the city. I did that with my own money, which I shouldn't be working on a city building. Andre, we spoke about that when Tavares was here. Okay, we got that going, and we put some electricity, and we got the first festival going, and Jumpstart was my sponsor. She was one of those was there. And, I came even to the council and give out my flyer and everything. Michael Jackson was probably one of the only one that probably tried to get $100 to me, but it didn't get to me. And when I saw, me and Ken Morris was back and forth, and Ken Morris said it was petty. He should have never got himself involved. Bill liked the idea, but he wanted me to put the Bill McCoy Foundation on it. Now, you didn't give me any money, so why should I subdue to or stoop to you? I mean, I just feel like you was just trying to, push something over on me because he wanted to use the event as a springboard for however he would keep talking about running for the mayor. Okay, we had a fight, we had arguments, and but I still give him the benefit of the doubt to come around years after years because his son have a kid with my daughter. And, because he held a high position in the church as the chair of the board. So I'm saying one day he might come around. That never happened. So now I'm seeing that they still continue this event and everybody's still praising them like, oh, you're giving them the credit for this. I don't think the council or the people in Paterson should be giving a council member the credit for something that they never do. And to you fellas, I want you to answer this question. Would it be right if you then come up with an idea of another Puerto Rican festival or parade and said, okay, you're gonna get involved with the Puerto Rican parade that's going on, do one before or after? Would it be morally right? I want you to answer that, because I think it's totally wrong, because we are both Jamaicans together, and this festival was going very good until Bill McCoy and his son wanted the festival, and I denied them that. And I think what the council should do is make sure that they look at this meticulously, what they're doing to people like me who's interested in invest my own resource and my time to even restore city building that the city wasn't even looking at. You could check Lanisha Macker, you could take Mayor Jones, the mayor right now could actually come forth and give you, the proof of this. Now, even Devella, at one point I went to, because the person who do my taxes in Devella office, I went to and make a complaint, and Devella was there. So they know how passionate I was feeling about this. What I'm here to ask the council to do is actually, give honor where honor is due. If you find that a little citizen in this town is trying hard to make some positive move or change in the city, then we should actually grant them the honor, and not because the council member is an egotistic, narcissistic characteristic, which is a despot monarch who wants it to take over an event and try to push me aside. I don't think it's right, and I'm burning inside, Ms. Mams. I'm burning for years, and I spoke to you on the phone about it, and nobody stepped up
Mr.
and tell me.
I don't want to cut you off.
And okay, one second. And
No,
Sonia,
Mr.
who's the commander of clerk,
excuse me,
she should step up
Mr.
and
Watson,
say, because all the permit went through her.
Mr. Watson, I hear your passion. I hear your frustration. There's definitely a concern. I'm not sure, we're not going to get through it in 3 minutes. I'm going to ask Councilman Mendez, he's the councilman of that ward, to have a sidebar and then to work with the administration. I hear your frustration, but there's a decorum in the council. I've allowed you to go over it a few more minutes. So I want to have Councilman Mendez as well as the administration to work it out to see if we can come to some level of mediation to make sure that it is heard, okay? I know that you have a lot more to say, but we have 4 more speakers and we have to go to the next person. But I will make sure that it will be dealt with, okay?
Council President.
Councilman Velez, we're going to go to the next speaker, and then we can make commentary after.
Thank you, Council.
Councilman Velez afterwards. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Watson?
Yes, Madam
Next
President.
speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Tatiana Portugal. Next speaker, please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi.
Good evening, Ms.
Tatiana
Port-
Portugal from 290 22nd Ave. Nice to see everybody. I don't know if you remember me. I was in your office about 1.5 years ago talking about cleaning up the city and things like that. I've been here before. It's been a while, so I just didn't recall the protocol and whatnot. So just to speak back on the cleaning and solid things like that, something that I just wanted to suggest was obviously the urgency for cameras. I think that's the most obvious, to obviously shine light in the places where there's couches dumped out, and it just doesn't make any sense to see that on the side of the lawn. But something else that I think really speaks about Paterson, and obviously there's many people that come into Paterson that are not even from here, and I hear it over and over again. I see people just litter, and it's just like, well, it's already dirty. There's entrances and exits in and out of Paterson that I think is the most important thing that should be cleaned. The fence, I cleaned something that I realized was actually state property. And I was like, oh my God, I raked the same section, and there was like old leaves from like past years ago, and then garbage underneath that, and that's state property. alone. Like, it should be told by you guys to say, like, listen, this isn't even our responsibility. This is our people of Paterson. This should be done for us. There should be no reason that we're coming back and forth asking 3 to 4 times. All I can do is go online and report it, and I did. And there was a request to have a response. It said it was completed. I went and checked it. That was a day after. I knew it was damn well not going to be. But I mean, just right now, all I think I just need to express the urgency is entrances and exits of Paterson. The fencing, just looking a little bit more nicer, like Paterson has a reputation. At least make the outside, and then let's work towards the inside. I haven't been here in a while. I would like to come back. I just want to show my face and tell you guys my name. And I hope also just to speak, well, she's gone. But I really do agree on maybe if there can be, it's not fun when people come up here and start yelling at you guys like you guys are the reason for everything. I feel like I'm a receptionist, and it's like when people come yelling at you, it's like, well, I'm not the business. You guys are not this. You guys are not Paterson. So there's no reason for everybody to come yelling at you. I'm hearing 8 years to talk about this, and it's like, people don't know that. So let's create the connection between the community and you guys and help everybody understand the language that you guys speak that we do not know. Right. I got lost in it. I just did, and it's things like that, and it's like the attitude, and then I got like a little whiff of like, oh, do I feel like some type of resentment for him kind of giving me that attitude? But then I saw his passion and, wanting to help the taxpayers and things like that, and it's that transparency that I think we need to have between the people of Paterson and you guys. So I really would love if you guys would consider making some type of program, and if I could be a part of it, I would love to. So you guys have my number, my name, and my address. Have a great night.
Thank you, Ms. Portugal. I think you should get her information to the administration to be a part of the Paterson Green Team. I think she'll be a great asset. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Mr. Coleman.
Mr. Watson, there is a decorum in the council. There is no yelling across the bench. Mr. Cole, good evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Mims. And I must say that you look very radiant this evening, very nice tonight. So I just wanted to acknowledge you on that. But anyway, I wasn't planning on coming tonight, actually, because now that the COVID is over, I'm back to work. So I just wanted to just, come tonight because I was watching the news and I saw our mayor on there. I was planning on giving him credit. I have to give the mayor credit because he did make a change and wanting to make an effort to change the police brutality and to give the residents some confidence that the administration is working to improve that. So I wanted to thank him for that. But I'm concerned about this task force. Who is going to be on this task force? And how are you guys going to recruit people to be on this task force? And what qualifications are you going to be looking for in those people to put on that task force? So that's important because that task force is going to then come back to you with suggestions and ideas that you're going to your administration eventually is going to implement. So that's important to know who is going to be on this task force. So I just wanted to hopefully hear from you, Kathleen. I desperately ask you, I really am very upset that you don't speak a lot at these meetings because you are the BA. I mean, you have more power than the mayor, technically, because you are the signing authority. So, I mean, we really need to hear from you, especially for Raquel, because I see her on Facebook chasing those fire trucks at 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, and she shouldn't have to. She's been here all her life. I'm only a new resident, and it's been like a full year for me, and I'm chasing homeless people and squatters out of my building. It's getting bad. I've got 2 squatters now. So it's really getting bad with the homeless. So I wanted to talk also about, I think that was it. That was it. Have a good night, everyone.
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. President, may I continue? There's one more speaker.
Next speaker. One
Yes,
more?
sir. Yes, sir. It's Elvis Durham. Elvis?
And who's on the CRCRB?
Elvis Dorr, 283 Broadway, Paterson, 4th Ward. Before I get started, just want everyone to know that this Wednesday May 26th is my birthday. And just want to thank my councilwoman, Whoopi Cotton, for coming through for me and my sister's birthday celebration, and my councilwoman at Laws, Marissa Daria, for sponsoring the fried chicken for our birthday bash. And want to say thank you to Mike Jackson for calling us, saying happy birthday. I know you got us something later on. But I just want to make an announcement. Wednesday's my birthday, May 26th. Happy birthday. I just want to ask, could each and every one of you do Paterson Summer Jam? I'm going to give you my reason. This is the third largest city in New Jersey. This is going to be the craziest summer ever. And I'm asking for y'all help. We need Summer Jam. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. You get a little hamburgers, hot dogs, some music, some T-shirts made up with y'all name on it. Get some flyers. Kids will come because the name's Summer Jam. Come on, y'all. Let's save our kids. Y'all can pick a day out of the summer months. Each one of y'all pick a day out of the summer month, and y'all have your own Summer Jam. And let's save our kids. Number 3. This to the mayor and administration. It's too much shooting going on in the city of Paterson. Too much shooting. Paterson police, right? Y'all say it's only 200-something police officers. Use common sense, okay? The state is watching us. We on YouTube, we on everything now. Bring in the feds. Bring in the state police. Partnership with the Passaic County Sheriff Department. Stop being so big-headed and say, oh, I got this. No, you don't. Because if you got this, it won't be no problem. The Paterson Police Department need help. Shooting all over the place. They shooting for fun now. Drive-by shooting. Come on. Wake up. 5th Ward Councilman Louis Velez. How you doing, man? All right. I remember back in the days when I was small, right? City council had problems. They used to beat Marty used to beat for Jerry, and Ames, somebody used to beat for Ames. But guess what? You never seen it on TV. Okay? Y'all could piece this junk out. This is the third largest city in the state of New Jersey. We got problems. We need you. We need Mike. We need all of y'all. We got problems. We got issues here. Bigger than the issues, whatever y'all gonna do. Let's clean this. Let's clean it up. I guess I gotta be in the middle. Let's have coffee. Let's have coffee at y'all know where I be at. Elderston Pizza, 88 Elderston Street. Okay, we gotta build this city. This city is way behind. This is not no town. Administration, Paterson is not no town. This is the third largest city in New Jersey. North Jersey City is doing better than us. You know why the state can't trust us? Look at the city. We got drug addicts on the streets. Matter of fact, they not homeless, man.
Please.
They drug addicts. Well, hold up, Council.
Please wrap it up. Please
Okay,
wrap it up.
they drug addicts. We need y'all help. The mayor, administration, council, come on, let's work together. Y'all don't have to like each other. Y'all don't have to go to bed with each other. Y'all don't have to go to the same house as us, but work together and let's build our city. Come on, y'all. I'm here. I'm the promoter. I need y'all. I can't do it by myself. I need a council president on my side. I need your number. I still waiting for that meeting.
I'll give it to you. Yeah, I'll give it to you
Okay.
in a little bit.
Good night, y'all.
Good night. Mr. President, there's no more speaker on the public portion. May I have a motion?
Motion to close.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call to close the public portion, Madam
Yes,
Clerk.
Mr. President. Roll call to close the public portion of the regular meeting, May 25th, 2021. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And to the resident from 22nd Ave, I think you're on lower 22nd Ave, but closer to the 6th Ward. We do have a major illegal dumping problem in that area. Route 80 splits pretty much my ward in half, right? 23rd, 22nd Ave. When you get off Route 80 on Kentucky Ave, we've cleaned up. One day we clean up, they come out. I just got a picture right now of a guy in a white van illegally dumping on East Railway Ave by the food market. We're working, the administration, I've already given locations that once you're close to the highways, they drive up. You're off at 23rd Ave, 22nd Ave. They come, they dump, and they get right back on Route 80. And if we don't catch them, they're gone in a couple seconds. What I'm doing is I'm reaching out to the business owners. I'm starting to tell them they have cameras on their buildings. Turn the camera onto these sites. I can't wait for government, as some people said, to help out. I have business owners now that are willing to send us videos, are willing to put cameras, because it affects their business at all times. So I think you're on the 3rd Ward side, but if you want to get involved, we'll definitely invite you into our Quality of Life Committee in the 6th Ward. We meet monthly, where we take issues like this. We just had our last meeting. We had 70 people show up at St. Brennan's Church, and we'll definitely hear you out. You're right on the cusp of my neighbors on 22nd Ave in that area. So I'll take it. We'll think it. My vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Collins?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to respond to Raquel. She's known to me as Rocky. Rocky is really a unique person. She lives in that Butler Street area. I know I'm gonna present this to Councilman Mendez, who is chair of our DPW, because as he know, I have presented many items. We're trying to change street directions and putting up stop signs, and what that does is just help with the flow of traffic. So I will be presenting this to you, Councilman Mendez, at the next DPW committee. She did leave all her information here, and I can understand. You know, I get to a red light, and then when it turns green, I have to wait a few minutes, because people are running red light like it's unbelievable. So you can't like just take off once your light turned green. You have to wait a minute, 30 seconds, to make sure nobody's coming through it. And I can understand the speeding is just absolutely horrible here in the city. There's so many things that we can get done, and we need to get done. And so I'm having my September meeting, Crime Prevention through Environmental Design, this Thursday. I will be giving out the Zoom, it's go-to meeting. It's not a Zoom meeting, it's go-to meeting. So I will be passing that out. But as they all said, we have to do this together. And if we do not, and I know that sometimes you might take your life in your hands by confronting people when they're not doing right, or when they're doing stuff wrong in your neighborhood. I had to chase people away today in front of my house on 27th Street. Don't have no idea where they're coming from. But I think that I try to get everyone involved. Once you get involved, and the lady said to me today, "You're not gonna make me move. I'm gonna take my block. You're not gonna make me sell my house and get out of here right now, because I'm not ready to leave right now. And I'm gonna take back control and not let you come all up in my block and just do what you wanna do." So with that being said, I invite you to come to my crime prevention meetings. And it's hard, but Councilman Mendez, we will look into that Butler Street area for you, for that, okay? With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote, golly. I'm sorry, you guys.
Yes?
I'm sorry. And there's so many speakers, Mr. Coleman,
Madam,
Mr. Kevin. I just can't, you know, we have a council
Councilwoman.
president. He don't let us talk to everybody. So, you know, I can talk to you at another time. We're all right, Council President. You know, but with that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Davila?
So, thank you very much. To address first Ms. Amador Raquel of the 4th Ward, who we have been in conversation, so Councilwoman, just so you know, as a Vice Chair of DPW, it's something that it is coming before us. I did explain to her that there has to be the traffic engineer does have to do a study, but clearly, we know that Butler Street needs to be a one-way. In addition to that, she also expressed her hurt for what happened on Sunday at around, I believe it was close to 2 a.m., where her neighbor was gunned down and killed. And I know that she was gonna speak on it, but just decided not to. And, you know, we did have a conversation before this meeting. As a councilwoman at large to Tatiana, is that your name? You know, there's 3 of us here. So you were correct. Council President did not hear what you said, but you were correct. He is passionate. Many a times, some of us come across I wish you would have heard what she said.
I'll repeat it. It's on YouTube.
No. I'm very serious about this, Council President, because many a times we are misconstrued because we come across a certain way and individuals say, oh, Council President was nasty. Who does it think he is? He's now, it's personal. And the reality is that that chair, when you're sitting there, you have to try to work with 9 different individuals and the public and so much going on. And people forget. And Council President, please allow me another minute after my 2. I respectfully ask. Many a times people do not understand we are human as well. We were elected by the people. We chose to run for office, but we have families as well. So when we hear other individuals come and attack us, okay, when there are individuals that come here to attack the council when they should be addressing the issues to the administration, okay, the mayor, the BA. The BA is the signing authority of this city. And you are right, Mr. Coleman. She should be speaking more, and she should be fighting more for us. And it's unfortunate it's not happening. And there is a sense of frustration on my side, as you can see, and maybe later on, as you see some of the meetings, you'll probably understand what I'm referring to. But to all the speakers that were here today, I want to thank you for taking the time. Thank you for your passion as well. I've been sitting in DPW. I've spoken to Director Billy Rodriguez concerning the entrances. And you know what I was told?
What? I want to know.
Do you know what I was told? Okay, and I'll wrap it up with this, Council President. I was told that because certain entrances are not, like for example, if you're going out of Route 80 and you're coming into Squirrel Road, that's West Paterson. So we don't clean that. And I'm like, hold up, but where is the administration speaking, the mayor to mayor to mayor, so that way all of the entrances that cross into Clifton and other areas could look better. So I'm with you, we'll work together. Thank you very much to my colleagues. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Some of us have tougher skin than others, so we'll wear the burden of the criticism. But one thing you talked about was, just helping to inform the public, and Raquel was talking about helping to inform the public what could be done to assist more. And what I try to do is often educate the public on the process and what things that are going on behind closed doors. So the first hire this mayor made was the zoning officer. The zoning officer is in charge of making sure all of the legalities are taken care of. When someone is coming to do construction in your neighborhood, they have to see the zoning officer. So that means if they're gonna do something that's inappropriate, it should be stopped at the zoning officer. This person wasn't a resident, but yet there's a residency policy that any employee must be a resident. This person didn't have the credentials. He did not have the certification. The state board wrote the administration and said, this person is not qualified to hold the position. They refused to fire him, and they allowed him to make all of these detrimental decisions like removing inspectors. So inspectors can't come and diligently write tickets and write summonses and do the work that you're expecting to be done. That's the first thing. The second thing, when we talk about accountability, right? During this administration, they pulled detectives out of the Detective Bureau who are supposed to do investigations on murders and violent crimes. They pulled them out of the Detective Bureau and sent them into the 6th Ward to investigate car break-ins and vandalism and spray painting. They pulled detectives out of the Detective Bureau to send them into the 6th Ward to do other investigations that did not pertain to what detectives are supposed to be doing. During the snowstorm, the third-party vendor went into the 6th Ward first and cleaned all of the streets to the blacktop, while other parts of the community were left untreated for 3 or 4 days. Brother Coleman, you talked about giving the mayor credit. I respectfully watched the press conference today as the 100th press conference that pop up. Well, when Jameek Lowry was murdered, when he lost his life, this administration barricaded the front of City Hall. This is the house of the people. This is the people's house. I was coming in through the back door. Had I not been there, they would not have allowed the family in. Several days later, people were illegally arrested. They were given notice that if you can protest, because it is your First Amendment right, your constitutional right. But if you block a public pathway, you block a street, we're gonna arrest you. They arrested someone, which has now resulted in a lawsuit that taxpayers will be paying on. It also, when George Floyd was murdered, and the community, the entire community, wasn't just the black community, the entire community, I have photographs where it's a very mixed and diverse crowd. When George Floyd was murdered, the Paterson Police Department put snipers on the surrounding buildings to make sure we don't have trouble. This is predominantly Paterson residents. We recently had another rally. There were over 30, there was only about 250 people at that rally.
Councilman.
3,500 residents took over the streets in another part of the city. There was no arrest made. There were no snipers on the roof. There is a disparaging treatment in this community, and until we begin to look at the entire community and treat everyone fairly, we will never, never see a change to what's going on. And all of those decisions come directly from the administration. The council struggles and fights to make sure that they do things properly, and every decision that's detrimental to everybody in this community comes from the administration. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And I know Raquel is not here, but let me just, I had a conversation with her. I met her through Facebook because of her live video. And I just went to Butler Street to have a conversation with her about all the quality of life issues that they're facing there. And first of all, I would like to definitely let her know that we're gonna take this as a high priority, changing Butler Street into one way. I'm gonna be working with Councilwoman Ruby Cotton to bring that to the next committee meeting and to expedite that process, because definitely it's a problem. You cannot, two cars cannot pass by on Butler Street, and that have to be done as soon as possible. But it's not only that. I feel and I hear her level of frustration because of all the things that have been going on in the city. It definitely is not only her that see that this administration is losing control of the city. This Sunday we got seven people got shot this Sunday. We have an incredible amount of homeless and drug addicts throughout the entire city of Paterson. I see Councilman Velez fighting with the homeless that are on the railroad by the train. I mean, it's all over the place. It's not only in one section of the city. It's all over the place. And on top of that, and this is a recommendation for the administration, Madam BA, please, collect the data of all the call for service that we're getting. If you look at it, in the third ward, every weekend I receive the same phone call about the same location of people with loud music, breaking the law, causing problems. It's the same location every weekend. It's not rocket science. Please, collect the data, pull the data. We have the quality of life unit. Give that list of location to the quality of life unit, and don't expect us to call. I guarantee you that we're gonna make some change. I just definitely guarantee you. That's something that I definitely want to request it, because I mean, it's just unacceptable. People feel that they're paying taxes for nothing in this city, because it's getting worse than ever. It's getting worse than ever. We're not safe in this city. The amount of shooting that we're getting, the lack of service, the amount of drug addict and homeless that we have in the city, it's worse than ever. People breaking into people's property, something has to be done. My recommendation to the mayor is to stop those press conferences and start handling the day-by-day operation of the city, because it's not good. It doesn't look good. I'm telling you, as a resident, forget about as an elected official. I want to talk about, from the taxpayer perspective. I mean, it's heartbreaking what people are going through. I'm getting calls at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And I called the radio room myself. I called the radio room, and the response is that we don't have enough manpower. We don't have enough police officers. With the Eastside Park situation, I make a formal recommendation to you to request the Sheriff Department, Madam BA, to help us in the city. We always talk about the great relationship that the mayor has with the county, the municipality. This is the time for us to call everybody. If I will be the mayor at this point, I will be calling the National Guard. I will be doing that because we're not safe in this city. That's how serious the situation is in this city. People don't feel safe. And Council President, I will wrap up right now. Just give me one additional minute. Tatiana, you're totally correct. We have a lot of, it's sad that, when you get into Paterson because of the amount of garbage that we see on the main entrance. And there's some area that, yes, it's DPW responsibility. I will make that call with the director. We're gonna have a conversation tomorrow and handle all part. And the administration should handle our neighboring town that have to maintain their area. My last comment, Mr. Waxman, as your councilman, I will follow up with the administration and you. I will get to the bottom of this, and I just want to say that I was a councilman at large when I saw you fighting for your Jamaican festival, for the first Jamaican festival at Eastside Park. I was there, and I know that between you and the administration, Mayor Jeff John, you guys were responsible to fix the building at Eastside Park on the ground level, and I'm here to support, I'm here to work with you. I don't know why the flyer was not distributed. I was trying to look at the flyer that you gave me, that you gave it to all the council members, so I'm expecting that we're gonna receive. I don't know why. I know you say that you bring it, so I look forward to have that conversation with you and with the administration and make sure that everything is in order. So with that being said, my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
And so I will try to stay within the 2-minute time frame. I remember you, Ms. Portugal, when you came in to meet and your group with cleaning, and you did a great job. I remember you going and cleaning up the park with Councilman Velez, and you did a great job. Thank you for taking a stand for the illegal dumping that's going on all over the city. We see the pictures posted, we get the phone calls, we ride by, and it's just so unfortunate that we have this type of situation going on, which is a part of a myriad of other things that are happening that the city of Paterson is totally just disgusted by. So thank you for taking a stand for that. Raquel, thank you for always standing up. I've known you for years since the school board. Thank you for taking a stand for what is right. I've watched your videos. I've seen you out there. I've even made phone calls to talk to the director about those ice cream trucks, because I don't know what ice cream they're selling at 11 o'clock at night. Kids are not outside. Well, in some areas, they're really not out there. And I don't see any kids running to the ice cream truck. So we have to identify, and some of them don't have license plates and tags, and there's a lot of stuff that's going on. So community, if you get that information, please report it to the police department, 973-321-1111. Give the information and the location so that we can crack down on what's really happening with these ice cream trucks. Mr. Cole, I got a few text messages and calls of people that were upset because they thought that a community review board was put in place and we didn't include the community. There is none in place. To my understanding, it is still before the Supreme Court. There's some concerns, and I give credit to Mayor Ras Baraka, who is on the front line fighting for that. I know here at the council, Councilman Jackson has been pushing for that for a long time, but that is definitely not in place. So I want to say to the community and all those people that have called and texted me even while I was sitting here, like, oh, I thought they were, there is none. So I just want to say that. Also, to Elvis, I didn't know about your birthday celebration, but I did see your amazing brother, Chef Bannister, with all that great food. And so I will definitely, between now and Wednesday, I will be doing a great serenade to you and my church voice to sing happy birthday. So take my call, Elvis, so you can hear me sing to you happy birthday. But to everyone that chooses to come out to speak on behalf of what's right or wrong with the community, AK Cole, Task Force, that's why I haven't heard from you, because you're back to work. So I'll make sure I call you on your break and your lunch from now on. But thank you to the community at large. Let's keep moving the city forward. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. A lot of things have been said about regarding Mrs. Raquel Amador on statements, well spoken, and I believe she fed it like everybody else it is. We had to address the situation. I don't know why the Madam BA is not here.
She,
Council President.
Councilman, she's allowed to take a break. Just like we step out sometimes, we don't do it out of disrespect to the speakers. A lot of times we need to use the men's room, and sometimes So she's coming back.
All right,
There's no need to do that.
No, come on, Council. If it was you, you would say the same thing, Council President. I want the same respect that I give them when I'm speaking, when they speaking. That's what I'm saying. The reason I was the director, she didn't put a sign that she was going out. I said, I thought she was gone. So, let me finish my statement. Madam BA, I could go way back and prove you with emails. I know you was in here as a BA, way back when our Assemblywoman in that time, and then Senator Nellie Poe was sitting as a BA. I sent memorandums to them and administration to be on top of the state DOT, state highway, of the entrance and exit of the city of Paterson. Route 19, Route 20, Route 80, you name it. All of them had to be taken care of, okay? And now the shame part is that they have a regional site on Route 20 that they go up and down every day. They could see the condition that we are right now. I spoke about the graffitis under the bridges. I spoke about the high weed under the bridges and our roads. It's easy to have a conversation with them, and if we cannot have them, then have our state senator and our state legislator speak to them to make sure we get the same treatment that Maywood and Hackensack and West Paterson or Woodland Park receive. I think we deserve better. This will address a little bit of beautification in and out from the third largest city of Paterson, the state. Regarding Ms. Amador, that case about the ice cream truck going up and down, you never know if a pedophile is in one of those trucks. You never know. You never know if they went for a little kid to come to the truck and kidnap it or do something to that. And some of them do not have permit from the city of Paterson. I confronted them. Myself, I'm not a cop. Bear with me for a minute, okay? So if I could do it, I think the administration should put some belts around and make the right thing. Mr. Watson, I never, when I was a public person coming into that podium, if I want to cross my opinion or my dissatisfaction about things going on, I would never use another community to make my point. I would defend my issue without dividing community. It was unfair that you appointed me and say, if a Puerto Rican community has an event, what I will do? You know what I will do? I will celebrate with all organization that comes to the city of Paterson and celebrate. And this is what you have to do. If you have an event, and I told you out there, put your permits. We, the council, do not deny permit if you are following the requirement that is mandated to put a permit for a bazaar or a festival in the city of Paterson. So you have the same right that any other organization could have it. Coming to this podium and bashing who stole or did not stole, I don't think that says a lot from you. So do your stuff. If you do your event, I will go and celebrate with you. If another organization does another event in Eastside Park, I will go and celebrate with them, because this is Paterson. Now, I didn't interrupt you, sir. No,
We can't have
so
that.
go home and do your homework. Thank you. You're not disrespecting me at all.
Councilman, continue, please.
The council president, is that people come to this podium and they think they could slap and hit anybody like disrespecting everybody.
Councilman,
And
don't-
then he
don't
calling me
engage-
stupid from over there with no
don't
reason. And you don't
engage.
tell him nothing. And you have an
Councilman.
officer there saying things.
Councilman, don't engage, just speak.
He
Has his chance to speak.
he engaged me the wrong way. Sir,
Officer, we're gonna have to
Sir.
remove members of the public that continue to interrupt the meeting need to be removed.
everybody has the right to put any kind of application here to do any kind of bazaar or festival in the city of Patterson. And we will
Councilman, could you-
entertain
could you-
it the
could you
way,
wrap it up,
the
please,
right way.
Councilman?
Now, I will wrap up. Mrs. Portugal, you came to my office, we had a nice conversation regarding your intention to cooperate with all of us. And I'm happy to see you here today. Sorry that you had to receive this from us. But we get passion sometimes, you know what I'm saying? And you understand that part. You still have my number. I still have yours. And willing to continue working with you, with any organization, to maintain our city and park clean. Last but not least, Mr. James Durham, happy birthday to you.
Councilman, please wrap it up.
Last but not least, and I'm gonna say this, the school district raised their levy. They sent the bill to our city to pay their taxes. Our schools are not ready at all to open. You had to see all these videos of mold and the condition our school are, okay?
You have an opportunity, Councilman.
Yes.
Later on,
So-
right now we're supposed to address the public. Later
Correct.
on, you're gonna get to speak again.
Oh.
Please wrap it up, please.
All right, thank you, Council President. I will wrap it up. I'm just a little passionate today. Thank you. And last but not least, how you gonna demand from the police to enforce when the same mayor is trying to kill our army? My vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So to Raquel Amador, you know, I feel sorry for what is going on with, you know, your situation, like many others in the city. That is not to take responsibility from this side, but that it is the responsibility of the administration to address all those quality of life issues. Also, your comments, you know, regarding the council. I could agree. There's three things that have changed, you know, from this year to the previous years. The decorum of this council have changed tremendously. Some council members that have been here for years probably forgot. And you know what? No one else, except from Tom Foscaldo, have been to more meetings than me before I became a councilman in this city. I was here during workshop and during the regular meeting. Just so you know, Tatiana, workshops normally were not televised. We started televising them because of the COVID situation. But normally people used to come here, and Gilmore knows this also. People come here usually during the regular meeting because it's televised and they will get the 3 minutes in the podium. I was here until 12 o'clock because I really care about the city. Now, one thing that, and I'm gonna repeat it, one thing that have changed is the decorum. Some council members just forgot that you have to follow a decorum, right? And the level of professionalism could be questioned also. Look at right now, a great example. I'm the president, and you never saw this before. And Madam Clerk is right there. We have a city code that says you have 2 minutes during your vote, during roll call. You could speak for 2 minutes. Some of my council colleagues make it seem that it's me making the laws, right? The rules in this council. My responsibility as president is running a meeting. Whoever's president next year, that's gonna be their responsibility. But what happened, and it was interesting, I don't know if it was because we were having meetings through Zoom, but sometime I felt that I was being targeted because I wasn't their choice for president. And if you go back to those meetings, it was like prolonged discussions. It was just like, it was an interesting year. Let me just leave it at that. Now, Tatiana, based on your comment, tell me how you will feel if you're sitting here for 3 years, right? You're a resident, you elected me. You come to me and you say, Flavio, I have this problem. Every year during the budget process, you ask the administration, listen, we need to address this issue. It's been going on for many years. What do you need? Do you have everything in this budget to address this issue that my constituents are bringing to me? They tell me, yes, we have everything in the budget to address it. But then the ending result is not doing it. So you got to understand my frustration. I didn't get here to get a paycheck. I'm a professional. I got a regular job. I didn't come here to take pictures. Ever since I became president, you don't see me going around the whole city like some other people have done in the past, taking pictures left and right. There is a public perception that people out there believe that the ones that are in the streets taking pictures are the ones that are actually doing the work. No. The ones that are doing the work are the ones that are analyzing all the information that's presented to us, bringing issues to the administration. Now, when you have a council, for example, another thing I wanted to say. So many things, but I try to stick to my 2 minutes. Some of my council members make contradicting statements. 1 minute is the responsibility of the administration. The next minute is the fault of the council president, everything that happened in the city. So this is what we're dealing with. We're trying our best to be legislators, to work with the administration, believe it or not, to get things done with them. But it gets to a point, it's like you telling and I'm not trying to compare this administration to a kid, it's like telling your son, listen, I'm gonna give you everything you need to bring your grades up. Dad, I need this, I need a laptop, I need this. You give them everything they need, and the end result, it gets worse and worse. It doesn't improve, it's getting worse. And this is what I've seen in the last 3 years. If somebody feels, otherwise, let me know which, service the city has improved in the last 3 years. So that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The public portion is now
Council
closed.
President. Council President. Just quickly.
Right after your comments, Councilwoman Davila, we're going to do the consent agenda.
Yes, and it's just quick. Our administrative assistant just gave us a packet, and I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out what this means, because my pictures are all over this packet, and I don't know anything about
So
this.
Councilwoman, so what happens is, members of the public, I didn't even look at the packet yet because I'm in the middle of going through an agenda. Members of the public sometimes, provide copies to Madam BA, and in this case to Phyllis and Chief of Staff to pass to the council. So
Council President, I have the right to ask, because this was given, my pictures are all over this. I know nothing about this.
this seems like an invitation.
Council President.
This is not on the agenda. I
I
understand
understand that,
I
but
understand you have the right to
You're
ask.
distributing stuff with my picture on it. I have an issue with that. Anyway, Council President, you can proceed. Council President, you can proceed with the agenda.
We'll look into it, and we're going to review it, and we'll figure out what it is. Madam Clerk,
Yes, sir.
given that the issue was already brought up, do you happen to know what this packet is?
No, sir.
Okay. That being said, Madam Clerk, can we take the consent agenda?
Sure, Mr. President. Next item on the agenda is our consent agenda items. All matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. The items listed on the consent agenda are numbers 11 through 38. Any item may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any council member, and if so removed, will be treated as a separate matter.
So moved.
No, before you move it, we got to remove number 17 from this
Yes.
consent agenda.
Okay, yes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved by Councilwoman Mims,
Second.
second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on items 11 through 38, with the exception of item number 17. Councilwoman Khan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila? Councilman Jackson?
So I'll utilize these 2 minutes to address some overall issues. I know we're voting on a number of different items. But, Council President, and I know it's unrelated to the agenda, but it's totally related to city business. During the roll call for closing of the public portion, Councilman Mendez referenced the administration should utilize data. And this is about accountability. This is about being responsible. The council is here to provide balance. Yes, it is the administration that does the rendering of the services. So if your services are not there, then it's the council's job to provide balance. The council should not just be a doormat or a yes vote for anything that the administration does. And this is just another example. The hiring of the data officer that's making a 6-figure salary. I'd ask any of my council colleagues, has there been any significant data that you've received? I've sent multiple emails with regard to these fires that are consistently happening every single day. You hear fire trucks running around the city like it's a video game. So where's the data? How are these fires being started? Are there illegal basement and attic apartments? Are there, what's going on? Are they squatters? We hired a data officer that we're paying a 6-figure salary, another non-resident, and we're touting that, it's not coming out the budget. it's out of a grant, but it's still paying someone 6 figures. Has anyone else received any data that's been pertinent to the job that we're doing here? Because I haven't received anything. I mean, I know I'm on the blacklist. I don't really get anything from the administration because I hold them accountable consistently. But has there been, Councilman Mendez, maybe during your time to vote, you can provide me some insight on some data that you may have received that's significant for the purposes of us doing our jobs here. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just before my vote on the consent agenda, I just want to just make a comment. 468 10th Avenue, the constituent that live across the street from the property, I would like to let her know that they, Gilmore, already have the information. They being just dumping garbage in front of that building without any garbage can. They just throwing the garbage outside, and it just out of control what has been going on. Corporation Council, I remember we had a conversation about creating a law that every new building or every building, multi-dwelling family, supposed to get a dumpster. And I know that we as a city, we're responsible for the garbage. So if you could look into that, because that's one of the problems. That building, they don't have any section for the tenant just to drop the garbage. And what they do is they just put it outside every single day. And 10th Avenue between East 29 and East 30 is a total mess. That's between the 3rd Ward and the 4th Ward. So but I would like to let the constituent know that 468 10th Avenue, Dale Gilmore will be there tomorrow. And also, the constituent that called me and sent me a picture about the park on Brilliant Avenue in 20, that is full of people. I already sent the information to the director specially to take action on that. That area is out of control, gambling, and all kind of illegal activity. Brilliant and 20th Avenue. Director specially already is taking care of that at this time as we speak, and also East 29th Street. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes on the consent agenda.
I'm sorry, Councilman Mendez, you said your vote is yes?
Yes.
Sorry, I was talking. Councilwoman Mims?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Okay, so Councilwoman Dowler.
Yes.
Mr. President?
So we're voting on the
Council President, I'm sorry, I think Councilwoman, she voted already, I'm sorry. That's okay, you may go, Council President.
So, yes, I'm voting on the consent agenda.
Yes, sir.
Once again, us as council members request information and hold them accountable. We ask questions. But we, as a council, we don't hire staff here. We don't have to approve the hiring of anyone. For example, the only ones that we approve is department heads, but after they're hired, right? They're hired, and that's why you had a councilman here, Councilman McCoy, used to say that he didn't get in the way of the administration picking his team, right? They picked their team, but that was the way he operated. Some of us are a little different here. This council has voted, and it's not part of the consent. I shouldn't be talking. You know what? I'm gonna stop myself. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilman Abdulaziz, the consent items?
Yes.
Thank you. The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Items 11 through 38, with the exception of item 17, is hereby adopted.
So, Madam Clerk, we're going to the non-consent.
Yes, Mr. President. Next item on the agenda is our non-consent items. Item number 39, sir?
Yes.
Next item is item number 39. Item number 39 reads, resolution approving transfer of 10 taxi cab registrations from Taino Taxi and Livery LLC of 32 Cianci Street to Taxi Paterson LLC of 468 Market Street, that's a mailing address, and 742-744 River Street and 17-25 North Street. City Clerk, Resolution 21265.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Cotton. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call in item number 39 for approval. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila.
So, Madam Clerk,
Yes, ma'am.
before I vote, I know that we've had quite an extensive conversation about, these taxi cab registrations, and I know you do your due diligence, and I know that there was some requests. This is coming before us actually at a later time, so their paperwork is all in place?
Yes, and all the money was paid.
Okay, very well. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Before my vote, Madam BA, just for the record, that confirming that you receive all the supporting documentation for this
Yes, sir.
resolution.
Yes, sir.
All right, just taking that into consideration, and also before my vote, if there's any situation in terms of any company, any taxi company breaking the law, there's a tax inspector, there's a department that's supposed to be responsible to have everybody in check, not the council. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Khalid, we are voting on item number 39.
Non-consent.
1 second, Madam Clerk. 39 is...
Yes, we're transferring some taxi license from one company to another company.
Yes, my vote is yes.
Number 30.
Thank you. Councilman Velez? Number 39, transferring some taxi license from one company to another, 39.
Oh, 39?
Yes, sir.
Of course, yeah, thank you. My vote is yes.
Mr. President?
So right after my vote, I want to know the status of the inspectors that were requested to work during, the evening, I guess, to address a lot of the quality of life concerns pertaining issues such as, taxis and other matters that we spoke in a previous meeting. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you,
Madam BA?
Yes, Council President.
I'm sorry, Madam.
I'm sorry,
Can
you got to read the vote.
announce
Yes,
the vote?
sorry.
Yes. The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 39 is hereby adopted.
Madam BA?
Yes, Council President. Thank you. I have an update from our Chief Taxi Inspector. Over the course of the first 2 days that they worked last weekend, they wrote 65 tickets and collected approximately $3,600 valued at about $3,600 in tickets. And they will be continuing to do weekend overtime work for this at night, clearing corners, all the things that the council has requested.
So just let me make it clear, we're not here to, we're not here in the business of punishing people, but we got to change the culture in the city, and we got to let them know that if you're going to operate and you're going to live in the city, you got to follow, our laws. So let's continue with number 40, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Number 40, before I read that one, this is approving these 10 taxi cabs that we just transferred from one company, approving it to the other company now. So the next item is item number 40, resolution approving 10 taxi cab registration for Taxi Paterson LLC of 468 Market Street, that's the mailing address, 742-744 River Street, and 17-25 North Straight Street. These are the parking locations. City Clerk, Resolution 21266.
So move.
Second.
Moved
by Councilman Velez and Councilman Mendez. It was second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 40 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton? Yes. Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 40 is hereby adopted.
Number 41, Madam Clerk.
Yes, next item is item number 41, resolution authorizing use of a 3-year average tax collection rate for the calculation of the reserve for uncollected taxes for the calendar year 2021 municipal budget, Finance Resolution 21267.
So moved.
By Councilman Mims.
Okay, council members.
Is that by Councilman Mims? Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Discussion.
Moved by Councilman, did I just talk about decorum, people calling roll call and everything else?
Okay.
We gotta stop this,
There was a motion by Councilman Mims, correct?
Yes.
And second by Councilman. Thank you, Mr. President.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Who say roll call? Who say roll call?
Council President.
Call for discussion?
Sure.
Councilman
Confused.
Mendes.
Thank you, Councilman. And just for the record, Madam BA, can you elaborate on line 41, just for the clarity of the public? Yes.
So in fiscal year 18 and fiscal year 19, our collection rate was 96.76. Fiscal year 19 was 97.28. Fiscal year 20, 92.63. That means we collected 97% of what we billed. The reason for fiscal year 20 was because of COVID. Our collection rate was a lot lower.
That's good. Thank you, Council President.
So, let me ask you a question.
What that means?
What, I'll tell you right now. Could you explain, I'll let you do it. Could you explain to Councilman Velez what that means?
It means your appropriation is going up on one side, but your delinquent taxes on the revenue side, it's going up as well. So you're basing, your collection rate is just basing your uncollected taxes that, it's basically a formula of what.
So what would that represent to the taxpayers?
Nothing, because your delinquent taxes on the revenue side go up.
No.
That's why.
That's not, that's not accurate.
Correct.
We need to know what the change was from last year to this year,
Correct.
dollar-wise. So it does have an effect.
So just to try to explain it simply, let's say, if you have 100 appropriation, 100 revenue, you bill 100, you collect 100, they're equal. You have 100 billed, 90 collected. You have 10, your appropriation goes up to 110. Your delinquent taxes go up to 110, so everything stays equal.
So Javier, let me ask you a simpler question, and then I'm gonna try to simplify what you just stated, so we could, people at home could also, and I'm usually bad at it, but I think I could simplify a little better. When your collection rate goes down, so council members, you have two options. Whichever is more beneficial to the taxpayers, that's what you will use. For example, you could use last year's collection rate, which we will not use, and I explain why. It was 92% because of COVID. We decide that by law, in order for the administration to use the average of the 3 years, we have to vote on it, and that's what we're approving on. We're using the average of the 3 years because he just stated is about 97%, right? So what the 97 represents, Councilman, is if you need to raise 100 million, let's say you have 100 million of expenses, and all of you know that for every dollar you spend, you have to collect a dollar. So for every $100 that you spend, you have to collect $100. For every 100 you spend, you collect 100. Because our collection rate is 97%, now we have to bill the taxpayers an additional $3 million, an additional 3. So we have to collect 103. So to ask the question that he asked, what was the reserve for uncollected tax last year, and what is this year? That's what he meant to ask, and that's the answer that us and the residents need to hear.
Last year was $8 million. This year is about 10.
So because the collection rate, the 92 that we had this year affected our 3-year average, now the residents of Paterson will get billed an additional $2 million. I don't want to get technical, but that's what?
The revenue goes up. So
That's what I just said. They will get, the levy will go up by $2 million.
The revenue also goes up. The delinquent taxes go up because now you didn't collect on that money.
Remember, Javier, the reserve for you guys, and you guys been here a long time, the reserve for uncollected tax is an item in the budget that doesn't have an offsetting expenditure. So that just guarantees that we collect enough money during the year and we will not run a deficit. So we are billing the taxpayers an additional $3 million in this case, for example, or $2 million. That's how it works. I watched every meeting for the last 10 years. I took my CFO license, and that's what it is.
Council President.
Let me give you an example. If you reduce your reserve for uncollected tax, let's say instead of 10 million, if last year's was 8, and this year's is 6. That means now we have 2 million less of a burden to build the residents.
Council President?
Yes.
Council President, I haven't
I
finished
totally understand what you're saying. I understand this. I just want to, now the viewing public's hearing that this council is giving an additional $2 million on the taxpayers. The tax levy doesn't change. If we're going 2%, the administration is going to put $2 million within that budget. It's not an additional $2 million on top of the tax levy.
No.
It's a budget. So if the tax levy is, I'm going to use a simple figure, $100 million. When they chop up that tax levy, now $2 million additional dollars has to go to this reserve fund. Not the tax levy does not increase with it. I just want to make us.
No, you're correct. But what I'm saying is now you have $2 million within that levy.
Within that levy
that you don't use to provide any additional service. So basically, you're billing $2 million that normally you would have had an expense for.
So there'll be $2 million additional within the reserve inside the tax levy that could be used somewhere else within the budget. It's not on top of it, because the way
it's not on top.
Today we had the sewer thing, then people are going to be calling about this. So I just want to make, the council president is correct. Because our number's so low in 2020, we have to reserve more money into this allocation within the tax levy,
Correct.
Not an additional increase to the thing. Thank you, council president.
Without including, so that means that our taxpayers will not receive an increase in their taxes.
This is not a budget or a tax levy. This is saying the allocation within the budget.
It's a line.
It's a line item.
Line item.
So
In the
just
budget.
like a line item for the police department. If they have a $2 million increase, when we do our budget process, there's going to be $2 million increase within this line item because the rate was in fiscal year 2020 so low due to COVID. So the council president is right. It was $8 million last year, $10 million this year. So when they're developing their budget, that is going to be shifted from a different line item
Correct.
to keep it within the whatever they're going to present to us. So this isn't a tax increase. I want to make it very, very clear.
It's not.
This isn't a budget. This isn't a budget from us. This is when they're developing their budget, they have to use a percentage for that line item. And the council president highlighted that from last year, it's going from 8 million. It's almost like a budget hearing. The department increased it. This line item is going to be additional $2 million. Am I correct, council president?
Correct. And it affects every municipality when this happens, and that's why every year we had an accelerated tax sale, because once you do it once, you have to continue to do it. So thank you for the clarification, Councilwoman De La Cis. Sometimes we can't, put it in simple terms.
You accountants speak like we're all accountants sometimes.
He was talking,
So
Council President.
we have Councilwoman.
I just want to say to Javier, the CFO, for the year 2018, we collected 96% of the tax, right? That's what we got.
Correct.
19, 97%. 20 was 92%. That's what we was able to collect. So now we're really not sure about 2021.
No.
That's why we need the average.
Yes.
That's why we need the average, because we're not sure, but
No.
that's what we got. I just want to say to the people out there watching, we have to do the average because we're really not sure, because 2020 went down to 92% collection rate.
You base it on your last year's collection
Yeah.
or on the 3-year average
Okay.
for year 2021?
Thank you, Council President.
Roll call.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call in item number 41 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you. So, council colleagues, this isn't a budget. This isn't a tax levy, as Councilman Khan stated. What we have in front of us is under NJSA 48. Every town does this. They have to put a reserve in, and we got to be honest. Some people do not pay their taxes, and we have to pick it up. So instead of using last year's average, which was low and not realistic, hopefully bring it up. And the CFO has to do this to prepare their budget. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Carney.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'm hoping that the year 2021 will be better for us. I mean, there's a lot of cases in court now against the governor, landlords are in there trying for him to overturn not to be able to evict tenants and residents. So I hope our year for 2021 could be better, but I don't know what to say. I really don't. But with this here, we need to do the average of the 3 years. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Council President, for just open the discussion to bring clarity and let the taxpayer know that this is not a tax increase. This is a line item change. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Agreed, yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 9 in favor and none against. Item number 41 is hereby adopted. 42?
Number 42, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 42, resolution authorizing calendar year 2021 emergency temporary appropriations for the month of June through July 2021, Finance Resolution 21268.
So moved.
Second,
Moved by Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Any discussion on this item?
Discussion, Council President.
Councilwoman Cotton called discussion.
Councilman Cotton.
Thank you, Council President. To Javier, our CFO, what percentage are we at now with these, June, with May and June? Or was it July and August? Yeah, June and July. What percentage will we be at the budget? 56%?
66%?
Oh, 66. We'll be at 66% of the budget, council members.
oh, great.
So,
As Morris would say, just put us against the wall.
Thank you, Council President.
so council colleagues, today in finance, just so you know, because not all of you are in finance, I asked the administration that to provide us with, and we've done this in the past, we haven't gotten the letter from the state, but at least you could do an introduced budget. Javier, what's usually the deadline to submit an introduced budget usually by?
I believe it's April on a calendar
So,
year.
yeah, so we're on the calendar year right now. We switch from fiscal to calendar. So it's interesting. In the past, we switched from calendar to fiscal because it was supposed to be more beneficial, and that's many, many years ago. Now, we switch from fiscal to calendar so we could adopt our budgets on a timely manner because we're waiting for the state. Now we're almost in June, and we still don't have an introduced budget. So I asked the administration, and they were willing to do so, to provide us with an introduced budget that at least reflects the amount of what we collected, what we got from the state last year, or if the intent, and I know you speak to them all the time, if the intent is to fund us only 85% of the previous year, then we want a budget, presented to us, an introduced budget, anticipating that amount of money. Now, if things change, we could make the change before the adoption of the budget, but I don't think it's acceptable that we're going now, almost in June, and we're still going on temporary budgets on the same year that we decided to change to a transition year budget. So that was discussed today in finance, and that was my request, because if the council wants to make any changes further down the line regarding any line item on the budget, it's gonna be too late, because the administration have been, most of the budget is gonna be spent by that time. Madam BA.
Yes, Council President, thank you. The delay for this, we anticipate that next year there wouldn't be as much of a delay. The delay here really was some of the uncertainty around the sewer utility. And so then that is why we had to wait on the introduction.
But with all due respect, Madam BA, I understand that it was some uncertainty because the state might have changed, what we were going to be allocated. But I think we would have, it would have been responsible to at least anticipate 15% less from the year before. We should have never waited. We should have an introduced budget by April. Just going
Council President,
forward.
we have anticipated 15% less.
So I hope, as soon as possible, that budget is presented to the council.
Council President.
Councilwoman Mims.
This is not really pertaining to this, but I know the $63.7 million that we're supposed to get, I've seen other municipalities have already started receiving phase 1 of their money. I would like to get an update so the entire council can see have we received any of that money? And also, I know it has been asked by many council members in regards to having a meeting to discuss some recommendations or a discussion. So could you provide an update via email form to all the council members as it relates to that 63.7 the guidelines and when the phases will happen, and if we have not received it, why is Paterson at a place of standstill when other municipalities have already received phase 1? Thank you, Madam BA.
If, Council President, if I could just answer quickly on that second point. We have received our first tranche of money, and it's in an account. The first step of the process is really going to be setting up some of the, kind of having in place the structure for some of the reporting requirements and the auditing that's going to have to be done. We have participated in numerous calls, in particular one with the National League of Cities last week, where we still need some clarification on some of the spending before we can go ahead. And again, we've been on calls with Treasury, and even something as simple as whether we're allowed to collect interest on this funding while we wait to spend it and to go through the proper processes for it. So right now we're still very much in a holding pattern. We have, Treasury did release the guidelines, and so I've shared that with the council. And it is something that we are going to begin as part of the conversation that the mayor has. I know that the mayor's office has reached out about the budget, is we wanted to start having those conversations with each council person about some of the priorities that has jumped out to them in the Treasury guidelines, so that we can start these conversations.
So
Council President,
I wasn't done. I'm almost done. So Madam BA, now that we've got it on record, because I knew we received it, I just wanted to put it duly on record that Paterson has received phase 1. Could you alert the public to the exact amount that we've received thus far?
I could pull up the exact amount, but it's about 32 million, I believe.
32 and a half.
So out of the 63.7, we received 33.5. When did we receive phase 1 of that money?
Earlier this week, or sorry, end of last week, I believe.
The end of last week? Okay, I just wanted to put it on the record to the community and to this council that phase 1 of that money has been received. And then we just want to recognize the guidelines on how it can be utilized so that the council is not left out of the loop. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Council President. So Madam BA, I'm sorry, through the chair, Madam BA. So you said that, so we already have in our possession $33.5 million, but we have no specification, or the administration has not a specification on detail how can the administration spend that money? That's what you're telling us?
No, as we shared, we have the Treasury guidelines that give the categories of how to do that. Now comes the process of the conversations, right? We have some ideas. I think universally the council and the administration has shared, the importance of, for example, the River Street project as the infrastructure project. So there are details about how the infrastructure project can be supported through this. One of the other things that comes from it is we have to allocate to create the most flexible funding that allows, not that this has to follow precisely to the legislation, but it allows us to use it for general government services, is how we calculate our tax revenue loss over, the kind of this whole COVID crisis and all going forward. So we're internally doing some of those projections so that any conversations that we have going forward are going to be well informed, and we can start. There's no intention to spend any money without having council input conversations. It's going to go through regular processes, even beginning with, in speaking with our purchasing agent, putting together the scope of services for having a structure in place. If a lot of the work that's going to be done through this funding is going to be subgranted, similar to what we do with our HUD funding. So we're going to have a mechanism in place that is going to be able to take applications, to take ideas, to vet potential, whether it's nonprofits or other agencies that want to provide a service with some of this funding.
Okay.
So we have to lay the groundwork of that before we can actually do any of this.
I understood, Madam B. But before we close, a straightforward answer on this question. Do the administration need council approved to spend $1 out of those $63.5 million that we're getting before you make any decision?
I think
yes or no?
I think that it's going to depend on what it is. If some of the items are going to be part of a bid process, so yes, the council would have to approve, say for example, the River Street project. It would have to go through a whole, we'd have to get design work, we'd have to all of that.
I'll wrap it.
So yes.
Madam, I will wrap this up, Council President, with this question. So you answered yes, Madam BA. Let me just be very
For the majority,
specific.
and I should say for the majority of the project.
For the majority of the project, you will need council approved.
Correct.
Let me just be clear and express myself. We're not getting $63.7 million every year, Madam BA. This is the time for us to give a relief to our taxpayer in the city of Paterson, and for us to improve those $63.7 million in the right project. This is the time, and I definitely hope that we could get fully involved into that conversation. You mentioned River Street, totally agree. That's on the list that I submitted, and all the council members agree on that. But definitely, I'm looking forward to have that conversation on detail, and I'm expecting to have line item by line item, how can we spend that money? Because this is the time for us to give a relief on the taxpayer. Based on all the positions that this administration created and all the expenditure, my fear is that our taxpayers are going to get hit with another increase on their taxes at the end of this budget. By the time we receive this budget, we're gonna be, as a council member, my feeling is that we're gonna be forced into voting into another tax increase. Let's make sure that we use those $63.7 million to help our taxpayer in the city of Paterson. And we'll be waiting for you to come back to us and tell us how we're gonna spend that money. Thank you, Council President.
Council President.
Councilman Velez?
You know, as if Councilwoman Mintz, if she didn't ask, we didn't know. Let me say it loud and clear. If she didn't ask, we didn't know. You know, and probably the media probably will learn faster than us about this money is sitting in the general government funds. Now, everybody's aware that with this COVID-19 that came in, you know, has affected business owners, has affected tenants and homeowners in the city of Paterson. And I understand that you have heard our requests, priorities to make sure that some projects in the city of Paterson move forward. I recall Councilwoman Mintz regarding recreation, regarding other wish lists that we all had. We all know that there's some requirements and there's some rules in those money, and that to spend it, we need to make sure, and I believe one of the closure is making sure that COVID-19 programs stayed effective in the city of Paterson. Okay, we're just not gonna abandon COVID-19. We got the money, and let's move forward. You know, I wanna see that really the business owners in the city of Paterson that have lost revenues, that have lost a lot, be beneficial on this. And different programs, you know, also the tenants. Councilwoman Ruby Cotton last week stated that there's 125,000 in the state of New Jersey eviction notice. So how the administration is going to be setting a plan when those courts are open, okay, and not just referring to the state or a website to do this and to get a lottery or get a $400 a month voucher. Try to get this money, and if I heard right, the President of the United States about how to incentive or alleviate what happened with COVID-19, this administration have to have a plan set. You already got the guidelines, Treasury guidelines. You have the department that wisely have to spend this money, and the residents of Paterson, and I'm talking about residents of Paterson, take the most of it. And as business owners, small businesses in the city of Paterson, tenants that probably are crying that they don't have any kind of income to support their families, and homeowners at large in the city of Paterson. Thank you, Councilman.
So council members, we have to understand the guidelines first. Listen, we could recommend a lot of things, but I think it's irresponsible to start recommending things and you don't even know if it's allowable or not. So that's why we waste. That's why a lot of times we waste a lot of time on this council.
Council President, we requested
can you give me an
that.
opportunity?
We requested that a long time ago. I
haven't finished. So one thing for sure, though, that I've heard is that we could use it for infrastructure, right? The reason I'm bringing this up is because I've been saying for almost 3 years that it is irresponsible of us, the city, not the council, but the city as a whole, not to put a plan together for River Street, right? We keep pushing it to the side because it will cost like almost $8 million to fix. And I keep saying, let's put at least $1 million here, $1 million there, you know, on a capital plan to put it together. Now, we might have a situation in our hand, and the reason I'm bringing this up is not to say that I brought it up, because I have, is because according to the guidelines, from what I'm told, we cannot use it to repave. Is that correct, Madam? If you don't know yet.
No, that is correct. It doesn't have.
So this is where I'm coming from.
There's actually, I should clarify, in the infrastructure section, it is very specific to water, sewer, and broadband.
Correct.
Under the other section, that allows us to do any government service utilizing what is the lost revenue section.
So because we have a lot of need, I'm not bringing this up to say Flavio was the one, like I've seen colleagues do in the past. No, we need to put a plan together. We have a capital plan that we need to put together. Council colleagues, that's why I'm bringing this up. The capital plan, actually, we're not too late. Actually, we are for this year. But we have to somehow include in the capital plan the road resurfacing for River Street, and we use this grant money possibly to do the sewer portion of it. I think the most costly is the sewer. One more thing, council members, when you ran for office, these meetings usually went until almost 12 at night, almost every meeting, right? Why is it that, because other bodies, right? Other bodies are sometimes partisan, and usually they vote a certain way because things have been discussed among themselves. This is a council body. The only time we discuss things among ourselves is overall, I'm saying, as a body, because legally you cannot have more than four, right? So you cannot have 5 together at any given time. So some council colleagues is getting to me because they have a feeling that every time they come to a meeting, they're gonna leave by 9 o'clock. No, that happens in other bodies, right? Like it happens in other bodies. It has never happened here because we are 9 independent individuals. We have a lot of concerns from the people, and sometimes we have to have an interaction back and forth. Now, it's getting to the point that it's frustrating. If you don't want to be here, then you leave by 9 o'clock. Yeah. So let's continue the discussion. And if it doesn't pertain to you, if it doesn't fit, the shoe doesn't fit, let it go. Next. Councilman Kalik.
Well, thank you.
Say their name, say their name.
This is surprising to me. How does the government gave us $31 million or $33 million already in our account without giving us a guideline? So that doesn't make any sense to me. Also, since we talking about budget hearing, I received the email from the mayor's office this morning, reaching out to me to have an appointment, have a meeting with him to discuss the upcoming budget. I think instead of meeting me individually, he should come in front of the council on a workshop, and he should present his budget to all of us. Also, the public will hear it too. Instead of, I don't feel comfortable meeting him individually. That's my concern. And also, how is it possible that they gave us that much amount of money without giving you a guideline how to spend it? Can you?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Council President, we have the guidelines and we've shared them with the council that Treasury laid out. Now, they're still very broad. There still are some specifics that, like I used the example of the bank account. And part of the reason why we're trying to get clarity on some of those so that we're ready to start some of these conversations. And for your point about the budget, the mayor is coming here at the next workshop presenting the budget. This was to be able to have a conversation to address any specific concerns that you might have, even and part of it too was to talk about, to give an update on some of this, to see if there are particular areas of focus that you reviewed in the Treasury guidelines. If you like, I can go ahead and resend them so that everyone can see them in their email.
Cool.
And I'd also like to.
That sounds good. Also, we should get our resident involved too then.
Absolutely.
Let them come in the workshop. Let them express their concern about their words. And as a council member, we are here too. Instead of having a closed door closed door meeting. I think we should have an open public meeting about the budget, so the mayor could hear about the concern of the residents as well.
And-
That's my suggestion, that's all.
Thank you, Councilman, because that is something that we're planning on having some conversations in the community after the workshop session and during the budget process, as well as conversations about the American Rescue Plan money, because it's the same thing. We want to make sure that the community understands.
We are in June, or almost in June already, Madam BA. When are we gonna have those budget hearings? We were supposed to be introduced in April. We are in June, like 5 days before June comes in.
She said, so she said she was gonna bring it, she's gonna present it to us soon. We can't go back to the past, we can only go forward. Anyone else? Roll call, Madam Clerk? Actually, it was a call. It's a question raised by Councilwoman Mims. No, I'm saying this wasn't an item. This was a question raised by Councilwoman Mims. So let's continue, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. With item 42?
Yes,
And
42.
this resolution requires 6 affirmative votes. Roll calling for item number 42 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Thank you. So after hearing the great discussions that take place in workshop and where we discuss all these things and doing my due diligence for items that have been on the, in front of us for 2 weeks, and then hearing again tonight, the same discussion, sometimes repetitive for multiple weeks, my vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson.
Pass.
Councilman Khalid.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This temporary appropriation is up to July, which is almost 66% of the budget. I think it is, this administration is spending more than what they need to spend. They need to hit a break. And 66% through July, which is like 7 months, almost half of the total budget is a little over to me. And I need to see the breakdown. Until I see the breakdown, my vote is no for temporary appropriation.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. In past administration throughout the history, one of the problems that a lot of those administrations went through is this type of temporary appropriation and not presenting at least an introduced budget that we could work on. So now, this is the third temporary appropriation. Now is the numbers 40,985,442, which is come out with a total as of July 2021 of 182,471,654. Having that being, that's a 66% of the total budget. The problem is that once we get the introduced budget, we get that introduced budget the last inning, and it's almost impossible to make change, to make cut, and make reduction. Like in my personal opinion, I have a lot of concern with the budget that we're gonna receive in terms of all the hiring and all the new positions that this administration has. I don't know what are they planning to do, line items that they're being reduced, and that's my concern, and also in other areas as well. But my fear is that when we get that introduced budget, it's gonna be too late on the game for us to make any cut, make any reduction, and at the end, our taxpayers, they are the ones suffering with a hit, with an increase. Other than that, I mean, it's really caught my attention that we've been asking for this additional funding that we're getting, the $63.7 million. And now is when I find out that we have $33.5 million in our possession. And I still don't know, as an elected official, people asking me questions every day. They ask me, Mendez, I know there's money coming in, there's a $63 million. How that money is gonna be spending? And I tell them, listen, I don't know. And I'm in the government, but I don't know exactly. They have not given us information. I'm also extremely concerned about that, because we should know, and this is the time that we should be having that conversation already with the administration. We should be fully involved, and the community as well. Until now, I definitely have to see some change, and I'm not looking forward to approve this temporary budget. My vote is no.
Thank you. Councilman Mims.
What's sad is that I was privy to the phone call where I found out that we received the money. And what's really sad is that we've been having conversations here as a council, talking about the money, making sure that we're part of the process. And I just waited. I said, I'm gonna patiently wait to find out when we would get the information. And we didn't. So tonight, I said, I'm gonna highlight it so that our council, my council colleagues, will find out that the money has already been received. And that's why I posed the question first, as though I didn't know, and then I waited, and then everyone found out that the money is here. What's sad is that when the COVID money came, it was spent by the time it came to the council. So it's a little scary to say, oh, well, we may be a part of it, maybe we can assist. That's a little scary part. But this item that is before us on tonight are the appropriations for from June to July. We're now on a calendar year with the payments, but there's just, some concerns, especially when we are at 66% of the budget already out, and then we have 34% left. So with that stated, I think the administration has to do their due diligence. You have to pull up their sleeves and work a little harder and get us to where we need to be. With that being said, my vote is no, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
What I have in front of me, I'm looking at it. If there was not the items that presented here, salary and wages, probably I would go a different way. But I see a lot of salary and wages. And every department has the employees, and all of them had to get paid. We got a fiscal responsibility to cover their payment. They pay. If I had a control of this and make some cuts, probably I will approve the salary and wages and reduce the other expenses to half, probably will be less that we'll be approving today. The other thing is that due that we are in fiscal calendar year, and Council President was right, why not do it monthly? And move forward to see how far the administration will probably do the diligent work to present a responsible budget to us to make sure that we don't go again and again in an emergency temporary budget. When I look at this budget, at an emergency and temporary budget for this June and July, it's most likely salary and wages. There's other responsibility there that we have to meet. I cannot play with the salaries and wages that we have to be responsible. There's a lot of individuals out there that have to pay the rent. There's a lot of people that have to bring food to the table. But this administration have to make sure to do the right thing moving forward after July. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton, item number 42.
Oh, thank you, Madam Clerk. As my Councilman Velez had just stated, looking through this, there's really a lot of salaries. Hopefully by the end of June, that we'll be able to do something with a budget that will come before us to see what we need to do. We're going to be in, the month of July is going to tell it all, with the state, with the governor, everything that's getting ready to, everybody's going into court trying to overturn some of the things that he has tried to put in place to help people in general. So we must try to move forward and keep it going for now until hopefully by beginning of July that we'll have something in place that you can present to council members. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So, in the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you receive, if the residents aren't feeling the impact or getting the trickle down from the results of it, then what is it for? I want to remind everyone of the $144 million that we receive absolutely no residual income from, where there was an uptick, where there was another $20 million that was given to save a failing project. And some may say it's not relevant, but it's absolutely relevant. I have absolutely no faith in making, in this administration, taking care of the best interest of the public. It's rather concerning that $31 million is a substantial amount of money. $31 million is touched down into the city coffers, and it's the first that we're hearing of it. Madam Clerk, my vote is no.
Thank you,
Madam Clerk?
Councilman. Said you voted no? Yes, Councilwoman Davila?
Switch my vote.
Yes, ma'am, you may.
And after listening to my colleagues, if I may, Council President, it takes me back to our weekly Wednesday personnel meetings, recommendations, increases in salaries, adding positions, not informing the committee or the council. So I decided that I'm not going to support this appropriation at this time. I mean, yes. So I'm changing my vote
To no.
to no.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk,
Yes, ma'am.
so when I look through these items and I see individuals like our fire department with all these fires, animal control and different things, I would just like to put on record.
Councilwoman Mims, hold on. We're in the middle
I
of
know,
roll.
I know.
No. We're in the middle of roll call. The reason she spoke is because
I'm
she
going to
wanted
change
to.
my vote. I know
So
I'm-
you want to reconsider your vote?
Right.
Okay,
She's gonna
proceed, I'm
reconsider.
sorry. I didn't hear that part of it, that you wanted to, you started right away. I didn't hear the part that you wanted to reconsider your vote. I didn't hear that part. So continue.
That wasn't stated before either, but I'll go on. Madam Clerk, I would like to make sure that our employees get paid until this administration presents the rest of those items. I'm changing my vote to a yes, Madam Clerk.
Yes. Next person is Mr. President.
So I never asked because my vote would not depend on this, but what is the count?
Mr. President, this a resolution, as I stated before, it requires 6 affirmative votes. So far, I have 4 affirmative and 4 against.
So this is a situation, and a lot of us know that we've been here for a while. I know you're raising your hand, Javier. So we don't like to be put in this situation because if we don't pass this, then you cannot even pay salaries, right? The only thing I'm going to ask you, Javier, is there any way that we could, with the amounts that are here, cut them in half and just do 1 month, and we take it 1 month at a time instead of doing 2 months? Can we take it 1 month? And again, we're in the middle of roll call. We're not supposed to go back and forth. We could always reconsider this item. We have to, because I'm not having an emergency meeting. I know how it's going to go. I'm going to get a call from my council colleagues if this fails. I'm going to get a call, and we're going to have an emergency meeting.
It's a Memorial Weekend.
So hold on. So I'm trying to find something in the middle here.
Just one thing before, when you look at the
Thought we were
3
in roll
temporary.
call.
We're in the roll call. Let me vote. And then what I need is to do 1 month. I don't want to do 2 months. So I don't know what adjustments we need to make. If we need to cut the numbers by a certain amount, then we need to. But I don't feel comfortable. We're already delayed as it is to have an introduced budget. This is an embarrassment. We're already almost in June, and we don't even know what our budget looks like for next year, which is bad. That being said, this thing fell already. Me being a licensed professional in this field, I cannot vote no on this. So my vote is yes. This already failed. The only thing I will consider it though if he has only one month.
Reconsider?
So he failed.
Can I announce the vote,
Madam
Mr.
Clerk?
President? Can I announce the vote?
Yeah.
The vote is 5 in favor, 4 against. Item number 42 failed, because this item required 6 affirmative votes.
All right. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Council
Council
President.
President.
I was gonna.
Council President.
Council,
Could we finish?
Council
Let's reconsider it. Let's finish the agenda.
Council President? Council President, if there's an interest in adjusting the numbers for 1 month, our CFO can go downstairs and try, at least so that that's something that can be read into the record and voted on for
So let-
the one, because our intention really is to have the introduced budget as part of the
Thank
first
you.
meeting in June.
So let's continue with the agenda, and you could do that, Javier, if you don't mind.
Next item is item number 43.
And nothing else.
Continue, Mr. President. 43.
Yes.
Mr. President, before I begin, I continue with 43. As we remember, we spoke on June 1st, we're having a special meeting at the workshop, Mr. President.
What is that? I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
Remember, we had a discussion, there were some executive items, so.
Madam
we
Clerk,
have-
hold on a minute. Too many people speaking over here. Council members, you want to share or no?
Okay. You want me to share?
No, I'm here, yeah, you can share if you want.
I
Just too
just
much
want
talking back
I
here.
just
Can't
want
even hear.
the BA to listen as well, Mr. President. June 1st, there's a special meeting, which I already advertised those items. If there's something that needs to go on that special meeting, if I could ask the newspaper tomorrow if they'll accommodate me to get it on, so we could have, any item can be adopted at that workshop for the next Tuesday. Because there was a special meeting with those executive sessions that you approved.
So that's a possibility.
Right, so I just want to bring that to everyone's attention, just in case, if we read something, so we don't have to have an emergency meeting.
So, but let's see what the CFO could put together.
Okay.
If we could handle it that way, we handle. If not, we have to, and once again, council colleagues, some of you could, you know what, let's just continue. A lot of these actions are made because of all the disrespect for the last 3 years. And this is why some of my council colleagues are acting this way. I'm not speaking for them, but I know that's where it's coming from. We're never taking into account on many of the things that go on in this city. Can we go to the next item, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Next item on the non-consent agenda is item number 43. And item number 43 reads resolution authorizing the extension of the contract with Millennium Strategies LLC for disaster recovery administrative services, RFP number 2020-26.
So moved.
For the city of Paterson.
I'm sorry.
Finance, resolution 21269.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 43 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Davila? Councilman Mendez?
No.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Before I vote, I just want to ask the administration to give us a total, how much they have recovered since COVID-19. I know, but I just say before I vote, I just want that request. My vote is yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
the vote is 6 in favor, 1 against, 2 absent. Item number 43 is hereby adopted. 44?
Number 44.
Next item is item number 44, resolution authorizing award of contract for tax appeal counsel for the city of Paterson, RFP number 2021-05 law, resolution 21270.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Moved by Councilman
Moved by
Zines.
Councilwoman Mims, second by Councilman Velez. Discussion, Councilman Velez.
Just discussion request, Council President. I see that we're gonna be approving contract for tax appeal council for this and that. I would like to see that we could, put a resolution together to see we could hire our own counsel for the city of Paterson, for the represent the council. Nothing personal. Sometimes we wanna ask some questions and we wanna, get the right, or probably the legal advice also the same thing, at the same time. I would like to see him sitting there and our counsel sitting on this side. Probably we have different question and get different, without moving my friend here, Ms. Della. But I just want to bring it forward because we had this conversation and I know we approving this, but I know it's probably a subject, but, we'd like to see in the future.
So Councilman Velez, I stated previously what my intents are. I don't think that would work because a lot of the laws are based on interpretation, right? And you said no disrespect to the Corporation Council, but it is. What I asked Corporation Council earlier is that, given that he has a shortage of staff, and our job depends on legislation, right? We need to legislate, and we try to put things together, laws, to basically improve the quality of life. A lot of times, things are held up because of the volume of things that are submitted to your department, and I just offer a possible solution in the meantime until you finish, filling all your staff. And I know I spoke to you about this one time, and you gave me your reasons why, it wasn't good to have a separate one, but I'm not asking for a separate one. What I'm asking for is to have a staff mostly going through you, not us dealing with the person directly, but I want someone to turn around and just do research, most of the research on our behalf. We're 9 of us, and we're legislators. I don't think I'm asking for a lot. I think that's a way to improve, the function here. Again, it's still gonna go through you. You still have to, you could give it to any of your staff, but maybe hire some consultants until you fill your positions. That's what I'm recommending. But it's not the same request as Councilmember Les. I just want to make it clear. We cannot have two, corporation councils in one meeting. It doesn't make any sense. We all due respect.
Council President,
Councilman.
that's what I meant. Sorry, sometimes I don't probably lay it down the same way you do it, that
So-
CFO comment.
No. We're trying to find solutions too, Councilman, so, could we proceed with the roll call?
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call on item number 44 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilwoman Davila?
Before I vote, do you already have the individual? Do you already have the individual? I have the right to ask questions.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready to vote on something.
point of order, we're in roll call, there is no question, we're in roll
I
call,
could
we're
ask
gonna
a
go back,
question.
Council President. Let's-
So we're
you
still in
did
the
that to me
discussion.
earlier,
We're still in the
Council
discussion.
President. You did that
No,
to me earlier, Council
we
President.
started the roll call. The questions were being,
So my vote is no.
Oh, okay.
Councilman Mendez?
Councilwoman.
Councilman
voted
Mendez,
no.
number 44.
She voted no. She voted no.
No, I heard. I am calling on Councilman Mendez now.
Yes,
Your vote is yes?
correct.
Okay, Councilman Mims?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
I believe this tax appeal council is good representatives in the county level when we are fighting for the taxpayers and making sure that they do the right thing. My vote is yes.
Vote is yes? Okay. Councilman Jackson, we are voting on item number 44.
No.
Councilman Kalik, item number 44.
No.
Mr. President?
So council members, in the future, if we're in the middle of roll call, I think one solution is to get up, pass like you have done previously, and go ask your question, then come back to your desk. I think that's a possible solution if you're not sure about something and we already started the roll call, but we cannot, ask questions, while we're voting. Next time, just pass and ask the question, sit back down, and then you vote. So my vote is, yes.
Thank you, Council President. The vote is 6 in favor, 3 against. Item number 44 is hereby adopted.
Number
45,
46?
Mr. President? 45?
Yes, 45, I'm sorry.
Yeah, next item is item number 45, resolution authorizing award of contract for special counsel tax matters and related fees for the city of Paterson, RFP number 2021-04.
So move.
Law Resolution 21271.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mims. So number 46, this is to assist with the foreclosure proceedings?
Council President, I believe we're on number 45.
45.
Sorry, I
46 is for labor, and just for your edification.
45.
To get ahead, the foreclosure attorneys, that is not on this agenda.
Is not?
No.
No.
Okay.
I believe we dealt with it in Finance Committee today.
Yes, that's why I'm a little confused, because I know I had a discussion today.
That's okay, it's been a long day.
Got it. All right. So roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes. Roll call on item number 45 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilwoman Cotton? Yes. Councilwoman Davila?
Just like every council member, I have the right to ask questions, especially when I am in the process of voting and I'm confused. Just like Council President just stated, I actually was thinking that part of the resolution before us had to do, since we've been requesting that, and I know you have as well, in terms of hiring legal specifically for foreclosures. I got a little confused, and this is why I wanted the quick question. Thank you, Corporation Counsel, for explaining what I needed explained. At this time for this resolution, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Under $25 an hour is reasonable to me. My vote is yes.
Councilman Mims?
The salary should be higher, but my vote is yes.
Councilman Velez?
The salary should be high? Yeah. All right. My vote is yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 45 is hereby adopted.
Next item, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 46, resolution authorizing award of contract for Labor Council for the City of Paterson, RFP number 2021-01, Law Resolution 21272.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
There's a motion by Councilman Mims and second by Councilman Velez.
Yes.
Yes. Roll call on item number 46 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Councilwoman Davila? Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 46 is hereby adopted.
47, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 47, resolution authorizing award of contracts for General Litigation Counsel, Special Conflicts Counsel, and Workers' Compensation Counsel through Claims Resolution Corporation, Inc., the city's third-party insurance administrator, via RFP 2021-02.1, RFP 2021-03, and RFP 2021-06, Law Resolution 21273.
So move.
Second. Moved by Councilman Velez, Councilwoman Davila, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 47 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz? Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik? It's
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Yes? Thank you. Councilman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 47 is hereby adopted. Mr. President, there are no more items on the agenda.
Actually,
At this time, we have
one more
the-
item.
Adjourn
Actually-
to close.
No. Before we move to close, there was, I believe the CFO is back. Will you happen to, can we, Madam
Council
Clerk?
President, there's a motion on the floor.
No, we didn't have a second. So,
Second.
I interrupted the whole motion.
Second.
So you can't have a motion when you're not given the floor.
What
So
you mean you can't have a motion?
No, I have the floor
can
right
talk.
now.
You don't
I have
have
the
to
floor. I'm
speak.
She already
speaking.
made a motion to move.
I'm speaking though.
Yeah,
The
but
meeting's
there's
not
a
over.
motion on the floor.
But it's-
Yeah, but we cannot entertain a motion to close a meeting that haven't ended yet.
What are you talking about?
I'm speaking right now. I'm in the middle.
You can always entertain a motion to close. the
Councilman, I'm
meeting.
in the middle of.
Any council person can make a motion to
gonna-
close at any point in time.
I was gonna ask the council as a body to see if they want to reconsider.
You first have to consider the
We have to
motion.
consider the motion on the floor.
Okay, it was
Council
only,
President.
okay, it
It's
was only,
process.
it was not,
You're the one who's being
Madam
a
Clerk.
stickler for process.
it was only, it was a councilwoman move to close the meeting.
And Councilman Jackson
I didn't
seconded.
hear, no, he didn't. I didn't hear Councilman Jackson say second. He,
Dead second.
all right, so let's take a roll call then.
No, that's not.
No, hold on. For close the meeting?
Corporation Counsel, can you assist us in this matter? It doesn't happen often. I know it's really late. It's 10:20.
Is a parliamentarian. Madam Clerk is the parliamentarian. She can explain it.
I could defer to Madam Clerk. If you have a specific question for me, I can answer
Sure,
it as well.
Madam Clerk.
What I heard in the beginning was a motion. I did not hear a second until Council President said, no, we didn't close the meeting because there was no second on the floor.
Correct. I
That's
didn't
what I heard.
acknowledge, I didn't acknowledge.
So maybe afterwards, I'm assuming because the record is upstairs with the young ladies taking a record of it.
Madam Clerk, let me
I
ask you a
heard-
question. Do I have
heard
to
a
acknowledge
second.
who's moving it? Who's moving
You're
it?
supposed to acknowledge.
So
who
I didn't
moved it
acknowledge the first and the
who's
second.
sec-
So
and
that's
who's
what I'm
second.
saying. I have to
Then-
acknowledge it. If not, why repeat? Why every meeting I have to say who moved it and who seconded it? So that's the point that I'm trying to make. I didn't acknowledge it. I only acknowledged one and then I stopped. So let's continue with the meeting. Like I stated previously. Mr. CFO, were you able to make the adjustments?
Yes, so for 1 month, for the month of June, the total amount would be $22,990,110.08. And that includes the budget, the utility budget, and $3.1 million in grants.
So if this fails again, we're gonna have to entertain this item at the special meeting on June 1st. Is that correct?
So I just have a question.
Council President,
I asked a question right now, hold on.
well, I know, I want to clarify something you said, so I
Yeah.
can understand it. I don't know if it's coming back.
Well,
He's asked a question right now. Who's responding to me?
Council President.
I have a question too.
Madam BA, the question, okay. Javier.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
So let me rephrase it. Do you feel comfortable? Right now, you just went downstairs and changed the whole budget from 2 months to 1 month. Worst case scenario, this fails again, then we will have to entertain this item on June 1st if we're able to, like Madam Clerk stated, because she needs to reach out to the newspapers, correct?
I will call the newspaper and find out if they
So
will
we don't,
accept it.
so we don't even know if we could entertain it on the 1st.
So,
So,
Council
so,
President,
Council President.
So the question to you is, you feel comfortable with the numbers with any amendments that you're making right now?
Yes,
So what that represent,
So,
Council President?
hold on. The amendment is, right now, we have before us, the item we voted on is a temporary budget with basically allowing 2 additional months, the month of June and July. Temporary appropriations, right? We recommended, because I'm not gonna repeat everything we said before, that we might reconsider to just do 1 month instead of 2 months, to give the administration an opportunity to submit and introduce budget. Remember, we have a legal obligation. If we don't approve a temporary budget, then bills cannot be paid in the month of
Okay.
June, only if there's money left in there. I'm sure you're gonna have some money left in some departments, but he can't even transfer money this time of year.
Council President.
Council President.
Hold
I asked
on
for
a
you.
minute, hold on a minute. I need
Just
to
a
hear a
point-
response first.
Just a point of order. If we're going to reconsider this discussion, the members that voted no should make a motion to reconsider, and then someone would second it, then we can have this discussion.
But
We've
before-
already been here, it's late.
So
We don't want
Councilman-
to have a discussion, it's not going nowhere.
So
the any of the
Councilman,
no members.
anybody could, the responsible thing, before anybody even entertains reconsidering, I need to hear, if you listen to the question that I asked the CFO, is that if he was able to put the numbers together and
He
if he
said
feels
yes.
comfortable with those
He
numbers.
said yes, he gave us the numbers.
Okay, but that was it. That
So
was the
let one
intent
the
of my
no
question.
votes Put a motion to reconsider, and then we can have a full discussion.
So we
about
have to, no one else having the floor, I asked the question, they have the information ready, Madam Clerk. At this time, we're gonna reconsider, I have a motion to reconsider, the temporary budget for 1 year, for the month of June.
Who made a motion?
I did.
Okay, Council President, let
You
me
go to yes. You
let
can't
me
make
go
a
by
motion.
this
You just said-
slowly. Corporation Council, if you're in agreement with me.
You have to be a member of the
We
majority
are
party.
reconsidering this resolution that just failed, correct?
Well, we gotta get a first and a
We're
second.
reconsidering this.
No.
We have to do a roll call
There has to
to.
be people that voted no, so who's the
Okay.
first and second?
Madam Clerk, Council President through the chair, the item that's in front of us that was shot down, so someone needs to make a motion to reconsider item number 42. The people that voted no
Correct.
have to make a motion to reconsider item number 42, and then there has to be a vote, and a second and a vote on that. Then you can have your discussion,
Correct.
and then you can make your amendments to show there. So
So
one of
let's
the no
reconsider.
votes have to make a motion to reconsider the item.
So I'm asking,
So
anyone
that
wanna
was-
reconsider this?
So So,
From
Council
the no
President,
votes.
that's what
The no
I was driving to. If we're keeping this said item, we have to do the reconsideration first. And of course, we'll have to amend because we're changing the figures. And then we have to amend, approve the amendment, and then we have to adopt as amended. So it's a three-way if we're going to use this resolution, because we cannot vote something on the agenda that we don't have a resolution in front of us. So that's what I wanted to explain.
Thank you,
It
Madam
cannot be
Clerk.
done that way.
So there's no motion, all right, let's have a motion to close the meeting then.
So, Council
Move to
President.
close.
Council
Moved
President.
by-
Second.
Moved by Councilman Jackson, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to close the meeting?
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the regular meeting of May 25th, 2021. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton.
Well, since we closing the meeting, I'm just like, God. To you, everyone out there, I just want, I'm the announcer lady, all different functions that's going on through the city, but we're having our kickball tournament on May 29th at Buckley Park, Chamberlain Avenue. We are sponsored with so many organizations, so please come out from 1 to 3. Also, I'm having my meeting on Thursday, Crime Prevention through Environmental Design. It is on to the go-to meeting. I will post it on my Facebook page. I also would like to say to Mr. Gilchrist, his wife's funeral was today, Linda Gilchrist. He was a retired police officer here in the city of Paterson. I want to send my condolences to the family, and please keep the family in prayer. I also want you to know that our lady with mature sister, Sharonda Roberts, was everything was destroyed in the fire. We're doing a fundraiser for her at the Else Lodge on Saturday, starting at 12 noon. Please stop by. The food will be cooked by Big Valerie Freeman. Also, starting on May 31st, Mature Sisters will do their 4th annual showers, and it will be held in the Else parking lot on Straight Street and Ellison Street. So please come out. That starts May 31st to June 6th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. I also want to say to the Corporation Council and to the VA, the same way we increase those ordinance, the same way we increase the illegal dumping, we must put something in place with what happened this weekend. And even though I know, and to the families out there with these shootings, I just want to send you my condolences. But something has to give. I mean, if we got to equip our officers with noise meters or whatever we need to equip them with, because it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And I just want to say to you all out there, what I try to do is put my announcements on my Facebook, but if you can't, just look it up. If you want to volunteer for any of these things, please, you can reach out to me, or you can look up my Facebook page and reach out to the person that we're doing the thing for. But please, to you all out there, we must work together to try to improve our community. And I can tell you that if we do that, you can see, it's like I said, we ourselves has to take our community back. We got to take it back and not let people push us out. So with that being said, please come to the Else on Saturday, starting at 12, help Mature Sisters, May 31st at the Else parking lot. And just also the kickball tournament at Grace Buckley Park, Chamberlain Avenue, from 1 to 3 on Saturday. Rain date is Sunday, May 30th. And I will post any of the other information. Also, is going to post the information about rental assistance from the county of Passaic. They're doing rental assistance. I will post that on my Facebook page, or who you need to call. They have a total of $15 million. As I said before, by the end of the year, the month of July is going to be the tell it all. But by the month of July, we're going to know what's going to happen with these, the moratorium for evictions. These landlords are in court, tenants still cannot pay, and we must be able to figure out by the end of 2021, there will be 192 evictions filed in the court system in the state of New Jersey. So we must take a look at all of that. Thank you, Madam Clerk. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila?
I have been sitting on this council for almost 8 years. it truly, I'm gonna say the word upsetting, that some of my colleagues who know me for years, and for this administration that has known me for years, with the exception probably of Corporation Counsel that just met me, that there will be no consideration. I'm the type of person, if I understand something, I support it. I'm not a devious person. Explain it to me. I should have the right. I should have the right when I ask for the floor to be given the opportunity just like everyone else. So when I don't get an explanation on something, so what, I didn't ask it in workshop. Maybe I didn't think of it then. But as I'm reading documentation, okay, and I'm hearing my colleagues, if there's some type of confusion, I should have the right to ask the question, because I'm getting ready to vote on something that's very important, something like the budget, appropriations for the next 2 months. And a clear explanation of other resolutions that have to do with your city tax dollars. So it's a shame. It truly is. We should respect one another. We talk about being fair, but it seems as though the fairness only goes to certain people. I'm sorry, Paterson, that I had to say this, but, sometimes you may log in and see, a council member getting upset, but you don't understand what's behind it. The frustration of some. Even when Council President, started today's meeting, he was frustrated. He's been frustrated with a lot of things that he's been requesting to the administration. So we may come across as being, to some disrespectful, to some even amongst our colleagues. But there's a lot of passion up in here. And if there's one thing that I truly can say and believe, is that each one of us here loves the city of Paterson and that we want better. So, with that said, have a good weekend. To all those individuals that have lost loved ones in the past few weeks, my God, the shootings are out of control. To the BA, please address the issue in regards to the police force. It is sad, the amount of officers that we have, being the 3rd largest city. It is truly sad. So with that said, Madam Clerk, thank you for tolerating all of us and understanding us. My vote is yes to close. Thank you
so much. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Welcome, sir.
So, the highlight of the evening for me is, Madam Clerk, I respect and appreciate you greatly, but the moment in which you had an opportunity to let everyone know that, one, you are a professional.
Yes, sir.
You know your role.
Yes, sir.
You're accountable to not only to the council, but to the community.
Yes, sir.
And for the first time in quite some time, your role was not stepped over. You had an opportunity to let people know that, no, they were mistaken, and this is the process. You're the parliamentarian, and you're often overlooked to, no disrespect to Corporation Counsel, but everyone has their role to play. So I respect that, Madam Clerk, and I appreciate you, as usual, being the ultimate professional and never allowing that to fluster you, and still being professional through it all. And with that being said, the disappointment comes when you watch and see who's batting for who. Which team are you batting for? Are you batting for the community? Because there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of talk, but the action, Councilman Khalid, is where it matters. People often talk to me about Councilman Khalid's habits, and he doesn't say much. He doesn't have to say much, but his actions speak for themselves. As a councilman, your actions come through your vote. Who cares what you say if you vote irresponsibly? So with that being said, my hat goes off to you too, Councilman Khalid, for never passing. That's pretty.
I mean, you can
that's
look at
serious,
the record for
man.
5 years.
We got to check that record, Madam Clerk. But with that being said, everyone have a good evening. And as usual, I'm here more than willing to bring forward the fight on behalf of the community. And Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Jackson. Councilman Khalid?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Councilman Jackson, I take that as a compliment. Okay. Actually, we lost a great young man over the weekend, a constable of City of Paterson, Ishtiaq Ahmed. He was only 24 years old. We lost him in a motorcycle accident in upstate New York. May he rest in peace. We had the burial yesterday. And I want all the young people out there to be safe out there, look out for each other, and what's going on out there. Good night, Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before my vote, let me just take this moment to thank all the Patersonians that came on a speak in public portion. Thank you for your participation, for being vocal. And that's what I would like to encourage the community at this moment. We cannot stay silent anymore. This is our city, and quite honestly, we're losing our community, we're losing our city. This is beyond politics. This past Sunday, when I wake up Monday morning, here that we have 7 shootings, people dying almost every week in our community. We have shooting every week in our city. Our city is full, totally infected with homeless and drug addicts around the community, in the entire city. The lack of service that we're getting is just beyond the unacceptable point of view. But I would like to encourage the community to keep demanding service. We pay taxes here, and government is simple. The taxes that you pay, you should receive that back in services in terms of public safety, making sure that you get the quality of life that you deserve, to be in peace in your house. And it's not happening. It's not happening. I would like to also thank all the third ward residents for just keep sending me texts and calling me about what's going on. I already mentioned that the director special is taking care of the situation that happening at the park on Brilliant Avenue in 20. With all the illegal activity that has been going out there, I'm going to continue fighting for our residents, and I'm going to continue talking about solutions as well. So we spoke about the shooting at Eastside Park. I make a formal recommendation to Madam BA to talk to the administration, make sure that we call the sheriff department to assist us and help us with the park and help us with the Eastside area. We need police officers patrolling that area. If the situation is that we don't have enough manpower, we have the sheriff department. The administration, the mayor always talk about the good relationship with the county that he has. This is the time for the mayor to take action and call the sheriff, and I will call the National Guard if I will be the mayor of this city at this moment, because Paterson, it's not safe. What's been going on in Paterson is just unacceptable. Our homeowners are crying every single weekend because of the noise, loud music, the quality of life issues that we're getting. It's just beyond. I'm getting calls at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm glad that my constituents are calling me, and I'm going to continue answering the phone. But action have to be taken. So Madam BA, please, if you could look into that. I'm insisting. We need to call the sheriff department. We need assistance with our police force, because every time I call the radio room, the answer is the same. We don't have enough police officers. When that homeowner is calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning because of the loud music, unfortunately, when I call the radio room, the answer is we don't have any police officer available. And it's heartbreaking, and it's frustrating for me as an elected official because I have no answer. So, but I'm gonna continue, putting recommendation on the floor. The recycling, Madam BA, I make a formal recommendation about a staffing agency. I hope that you move forward with that to correct the problem. And also I would like to thank Corporation Council once again, because tonight, for helping me with that legislation. That is definitely going to stop people from dumping in our community. If the administration enforce it, you're not gonna walk away with a $100 ticket. The maximum amount is $10,000 for people that are dumping garbage in the floor, and the minimum is $2,500. And once again, I want to thank Corporation Council for that. So I'm in my closing also to all the residents that live on 11th Avenue and East 30. The four-way stop sign is being approved already today, and we're gonna have it to control the traffic on that section. So let's continue praying for our city. And thank you to all the residents for attending the Eastside Park event. We help so many families with the electricity bill and also with our ESL program. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Good night, Paterson.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, colleagues, administration. Today has been a beautiful meeting. But in the past weeks, I've been receiving emails regarding the concerns of some parents in the Fifth Ward. I have received calls from parents from the Fifth Ward. I have 11 school plus shelters in the Fifth Ward. I have a mixed community in the Fifth Ward. I have a big population of students in the Fifth Ward. And I take the Fifth Ward as an example because I got 11 schools. But this is a concern at large of the city of Paterson. We in the month of May, we have paid the district, the school district, last year, $52 million in taxes. They billed us when the schools was closed. From January up to now, we already placed half of that. We have paid half of that when the school had been closed. The amount of mold inside the school, AC not working properly, ventilator not working properly. We still under a pandemic situation in our city. COVID-19 did not came with instructions how to fight it. We've been fighting COVID-19 left and right. But now we want to rush our students, our teachers, send them to school for 1 month without looking at the precaution that this is bringing. Where is the hurry? Why is the hurry? We need to still vaccinate our children. Madam Clerk, Council President, please. I just want to, because it creates a concern. If our schools are not ready, you could be vaccinated. If our schools are not ready for a healthy environment, what's the hurry? Let's do it right, for we cannot feel sorry tomorrow. Let's make sure our schools inside are to standard to receive our students from K to 12. I didn't have the opportunity to speak to no one regarding this and to the administration. But if we want to make highlights, our schools are open, they are ready. Our parents need to be safe, our children have to be safe, and our teachers need to be feeling safe. And the personnel of the Paterson Board of Education need to feel safe. Meanwhile, I don't see that they are feeling safe. I cannot support that our taxpayers keep on continue paying taxes when the school was closed, and they still increase the levy and still demanding from us to get their taxes paid, and they're not receiving the best of the best. So, Madam BA, please, let's look at the recommendation of OSHA. Let's look at the recommendation of the experts that are visiting these schools. Have the Board of Education send us a full report of the condition of our schools, to send it to the Committee of Education. We have a Committee of Education here. Get us involved so we can make sure that our student population are going to be safe in our schools. Saying that, damas y caballeros, si usted no se siente conforme con la situación que está pasando en las escuelas, siga demandándole a los administradores de la escuela que le den una escuela segura, sana para nuestros estudiantes. And let me say this, Council President, COVID-19 is still out there. And still we have kids that suffer asthma. We got kids that suffer a lot of medical conditions. There's teachers, a lot of people that suffer medical conditions, especially if they went through COVID-19. So, you know, I'm gonna be vocal on this. I will not stop. And I wanna make sure that the student population and the people that serve our city through the education be safe in our city. So my vote is yes, Council President. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Councilman Mims?
So, first and foremost, to all of the families that have been going through in this very trying time, whether it's through shooting, violence, fires, so many different things, my heart goes out to you, and my prayers and sympathies are with you as well. To the Gilchrist Rivers family, to the Bellies family, and so many others that we can call names all day, all night, but my heart goes out to you. As they're anticipating the schools reopening, I just want to give it to the BA. Can we just make sure that we have crossing guards in place at those different locations? I know Officer Mata does an amazing job with that. I just want to make sure at those particular locations that we have coverage so that our kids are safe as they're going back into those buildings. Well, the parents are going, teachers are going back, administration, and then the few schools that are opening. It's not all schools, it's just the few of the schools. So I just want to make sure that they are safe. To the community at large, we continue to answer your calls with the noise at night, the partying that's going on, the Papa Willies that's happening on some of our new paved streets. And what's really disheartening is to receive a call from an elderly woman who calls to the top of her lungs and says, "I have had it." She said, "I need you to hear this." And she puts the phone to the window, and you can hear the screeching of the motorbikes on her street, and you can hear the loud music of parties going on all night long. And she said, that's it, she's had it, she's moving out of the city of Paterson. To this administration, I know there's a lot going on, but please, let's continue to proactively take care of a lot of these concerns and issues that are happening throughout the city. And a lot of the complaints are coming through, trying to work on the response time for some of the items and the concerns that are going on as well, just to make sure. There's a lot of different events that are happening between now and over the weekend. I want to say congratulations to all of our graduates. There is a scholarship program that I've been doing for the last 15 years. We will be announcing the winners of the scholarship on next week. We will be reviewing your all of your paperwork, your documents, and the essay that you have written. And then we will be announcing the winners to receive. Also to Set Academy, Ms. Thompson, always your top 5 students. That's in addition to my scholarship giveaway. Paterson, I love you. Let's keep building together. We're in this together. I've been on the council for 3 years, almost 4. But I've been in the city of Paterson for 51 years. I'm born and raised here. I love it, and I don't do it for a paycheck or anything. I do it because I know that this city deserves the best. God bless you. Have a great night. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President?
To residents of Paterson, I brought an issue earlier pertaining to an increase by the school board, tax increase. All I gotta say is, when I was in the board, one time someone contemplated an increase. We were here before the council. After I made my statement, I got a text that, their state aid has been reduced and so on. But my thing is, we're a distressed city. We're getting transitional aid, and that's when we need to come together and ask the state to provide more funding to our schools instead of reducing it. If that's the case, I don't know actually, I don't know what took place, but it's still unacceptable to our residents. Not directly putting the blame on them, but if it was the result of, of the state reducing their aid, it's something that we need to talk about with the state. To get our legislators involved, state legislators involved, And we cannot afford to continue to have these increases. We already have enough increases as it is, and enough is enough. You know, if the services improve, then it will be another story. But the way it stands right now is that we're not getting the services that we're paying for, and on top of that, you know, our levy continues to increase to our taxpayers. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 9 in favor, none against. The regular meeting of May 25th, 2021 is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you. You're welcome.